School of Pokemon here, back again with the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan. How are we doing today, Dan?
Doing very well. Very behind, but for good reason. Had a good time. Taking a couple days off midweek. How are you doing?
Doing well. Keeping busy.
I see Brad G. Card shared his membership for 3 months. Appreciate you, Brad G., part of the PokeFlippers. Oh, new member. Maybe he just resubscribed.
Wow. Was he unsubscribed? Man, disappointed in you, Brad.
He's dropping those Bug Life Nick Caterpillars. So nice to see the Nick Caterpillars in chat. Yeah. So for people who came over from our premiere, we appreciate you hanging out over there and checking that out. I think there were a couple questions, a little bit of commentary going on over there. I didn't fully keep up with the live chat, but if anyone wants any things in particular talked about, let us know. We currently have no backlog. Leave your questions in chat. That's why we do the whole premiere thing, so that we can hang out with you guys for a full 3 hours or so and do Q&A. I guess if you want to touch, I see some questions rolling in. If you want to touch quickly on a little bit of your own self-promotion, I've got some of my own self-promotion to do for tonight as well. So we might as well get that out of the way while we wait for questions to pop in.
Yeah, definitely. So for those of you who don't know, I've been doing eBay Lives almost every single day of the week. This is my second week doing it, Monday through Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Friday and Saturday. Week one was decent. There was a decent amount of people in there week one. Pricing was pretty decent. A lot of pack rips, which was nice. But week two has really started to pick up for me, which is great to see. Absolutely loving it. Auction prices are now there's still some misses, but there's a lot of good auction prices. So loving that. Still a ton of pack rips, which is nice. It's funny. I had to cut my live short last night, but Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I typically aim for about 3-hour live streams. Monday I went 3 hours 45 minutes. Tuesday I went 4 hours, and Wednesday I went 4 hours and 15 minutes. So the lives just keep increasing little by little.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love it. It's just I do about 2 hours worth of single card auctions and then start doing pack rips, and I'm starting to get more and more pack rips. So that's really nice right there. But having a great time with that. Really do appreciate all of you guys who have hopped into one of my live streams, whether you're buying something or just hanging out. Really do appreciate it. But we'll be going live again tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then again on Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. How about you, Dan? Do you have any? Are you going to be competing with me any of those nights?
I need to double check my YouTube quickly because I forget what time I scheduled it for. I scheduled it back on like Monday. So 9:30 p.m. For 30 minutes at 9 p.m., go watch Nick over on eBay Live, and then immediately mass exodus. Everyone exit Nick's stream together at 9:30 when you see me go live on YouTube. So come buy 151 from me. Come buy heavy base packs from me, Topps Chrome packs. We'll give Nick his 30 minutes to shine. He better put out all the goods up front, because I'm feeling like his viewership is gonna drop off a cliff at 9:30 when I go live. But yeah, I went to Legoland the past couple days, and I did not yet do my weekly live, and it's also the last day of June, and I did not yet do my monthly pack rip stream. So I'm doing a 2-for-1 tonight. I was intending on opening a Lord of the Rings box, which I'm sure someone will bring up at some point. But did you see that the 1 of 1 has been pulled? The One Ring?
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Yeah. So
I saw that on Instagram. Yeah, created PSA 9.
they must have hit up Dave and Adam's Card World, presumably, for the bounty, because it was Dave and Adam's Card World Twitter that I believe did the initial post on it. But yeah, bummer. Feels like a total scam because it wasn't in my boxes, so it had to be manipulated in some way because that was supposed to be me. But yeah, I guess it's interesting to see that pulled. Kind of cool to see it pulled, but also since I had a handful of boxes and one I was gonna rip, I wasn't gonna pull it anyway. But having that thought, having the possibility, right? Even if it had been pulled and I found out later on, like I just wish I had the opportunity to open a box not knowing it had yet been pulled, so that I could lie to myself and saying there's a chance. Now I know that there's no chance, right? So some amount of the fun, most of the fun goes away.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So yeah, my I forgot to finish my shill job. My stream tonight, catchemallcollectibles.com. The packs are live. I'm doing 151 boxes for 151 hits only. So I have those up. I have like base packs. I have fossil packs. I'm not going to get too crazy doing like all different kinds of sets like I've done in the past. I'm just going to do some of the more pricey stuff. And then I might throw up Crown Zenith later. But as of right now, like I guess I will throw up some Crown Zenith. That's a fun set to open. I do have some next to me, so I know that I do have it ready. So yeah, Crown Zenith, 151, expensive WotC packs that you're gonna get wrecked on if you want to, and then that'll make for the stream tonight.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Let me see now who we've got hanging out in chat. Yeah, Busy Bee in here already saying the ring has been found and graded. So it graded as Nick said, a PSA 9. Dave Adams Card World had $1 million bounty out. I don't know how valid the $2 million bounty was. I think it was like a $2 million and then a $2.1 million, but I think they were international companies or whatever. Sounds like somebody might have just taken up Dave and Adams Card World, or maybe they were mass breaking them and maybe they pulled it themselves. I'm not really sure too much in the background, like what's going on behind the scenes on that. But do you know anything further other than just Dave and Adams Card World showed a picture of a PSA 9?
No, I don't know anything else. Nope.
I
was surprised they went PSA. That must have been quite the upcharge there.
Yeah. Isn't their highest level like a $10,000 or something?
I believe so.
I think the high, yeah, I don't think there's a higher one than that, but I guess that's like 1%, right? Like if you count it as worth $1 million, that's 1%, which is an expensive little piece of plastic. Yeah. Peak That You wants to know, are we going to get a studio tour once you're all done with your new setup?
Oh, a YouTube video studio tour? I don't know. But yeah, I'll probably do something on eBay Live, showing you guys around.
There you go.
I'm just waiting on my desk. I have everything else ready to go. My desk got delayed in shipping, so that won't be here until Wednesday now.
Get that set up for maybe next week then, probably? Or are you going to turn it around in one day for Thursday night?
I'm hoping to do Thursday or Friday. I'll probably put just like a table down there for Monday, next Monday, so I can get started. But was really hoping to have the desk.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just finalizing my Shopify update so that all my stuff was live.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna start scanning cards for my live tonight.
Empire of Nostalgia says, hey, do you think PSA 9 Japanese Basic has room to grow again? Relative to a lot of the crazy stuff that's going on, I do think that there's some value in some WotC stuff, but that does not necessarily mean the price is going to go up. I really don't like the will price go up. Like, could it grow again? Yes. Could it go down from here? Yes. Which will it do? I don't know. If I had them, I would be selling them. That is my answer for pretty much any and all products. I'm not like investing, speculating on future value. I buy low and I sell high. What about you? You making big investment moves in that?
I am not. No. I don't know. The WotC does decent on my lives, but Modern just absolutely kills it. So I've been buying less and less WotC collections and more Modern collections. Part of that being because I also have a good bit of WotC still, and I don't have as much higher end Modern. But the other part of that just being there's so many more people who are interested in these Modern cards compared to these WotC cards. Personally, I've always preferred the WotC stuff. You guys know I'm a big Gen 1er, but I don't know anymore. I'm starting to turn and say Modern is the way to go. Modern seal for your investments is looking better and better.
The moderner, the better. James made a video last night or 2 nights ago, WotC being dead. He's auctioning off all those WotC cards he had kicking around his buy it nows. James is just max paper hands. I think one thing that will go on, and again, like if I had to put $10,000 into PSA 9 WotC First Edition Hollows versus some of these PSA 10 super high pop alt arts, I joke. I love higher turnover. I love liquidity, and that's where it is. But if you're stuck holding them, if you have to hold them for 10 years or something, I'm quite confident that a lot of the WotC cards will turn out better in the long run, just because we don't need to go through the whole thing. But as far as having inventory, which one do I want? 100%, it's the moderner the better. Like the higher pop the better, the moderner the better, because there's liquidity, there's depth in that market, and it is a little bit painful, but I am selling off a lot of my old PSA 9 WotC First Edition stuff. I scheduled out like 200 of them on Monday, so like the next 20 days I just have 10 a day going up, and to see like a PSA 9 First Edition Neo Genesis Hollow sell for like $150, and then the same day I'm packing and shipping that, I'm packing and shipping like a Celebrations CGC 9.5 Charizard for the same amount of money. And one of them I can buy 50 or 100 at a time for $75 in near mint plus quality. And the other one, like if you had to go source a bunch of Neo Revelation Polyraths, or is it, I forget if it's Revelation or Discovery, but I saw that just sold this morning or yesterday, I think. You can't source that card. Discovery. Yeah, you can't source that card. Like the art, yeah, it's probably a lot worse art. It's a lot worse Pokemon than a lot of these newer ones, but you can't source that card. You go get 10 of those mint right now. Like you just can't. And so the value seems a lot more there, and at the end of the day, it's the whole modern versus vintage. I see Nostalgianomics in chat. He really liked that ultra modern sealed talk. Pongo wants to know, I'll let you go first here. In a cage match to the death, who wins, Nick or Dan?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I'm too friendly to kill Dan, but if I had to, I would have to say me.
I think I just got the reach advantage. I don't know if we're going with any weapons of any kind. I've definitely got a lot of inherent advantages from that. And plus, yeah, Nick's just a big cuddly teddy bear, so I don't know. I think I'm taking me there. Reggie Cards wants me to talk about how wrecked I got. I did buy 6 Lord of the Rings booster boxes from Rudy. He pumped me and he dumped me again. I mean, he was on the pump. Every subsequent video, he was making the price of those boxes go up by another $1,000 in his title. I FOMO'd in, and then the 101 got pulled out from under me, and now Rudy successfully pumped me and dumped me again. So yeah, I got wrecked there. I took my L. I might still open one tonight just to start off the stream. We'll see. Because you still can pull like all the other rings, and I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings. I shouldn't have bought any of it, but I like the idea of the product and all the hype and craze around it, so I went for it.
What was Rudy charging for those? Do you remember?
It was fair. It was fair at the time. I think I paid $2,400 for 4, so I think it was $400 a pop. And I want to say at the time TCG Player was like $430, $440. So it was definitely like sub market, but it was easy for him to undercut market because like market was so ridiculously high.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a lot of people saying something about like
are you still gonna open your boxes or one of your boxes, or
I'll probably open one. I'll still open one, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest. It was all kind of bought as like a meme. I've got these 3 Magic 30s behind me that like I probably should sell one. I think they're going for a little bit over. I should have sold half of, like, it's not like I could have sold half and gotten my money back and had the rest free. It didn't go up that much, but just bought it as kind of a big lottery ticket. So there's still some amount of a lottery ticket play there with the other serialized cards, and I'll probably crack one on tonight's stream. I don't know, we'll see. But I feel like I've said this name like 5 times, and I think I say it a different way every time. But Ornitier, I don't know how to say that. Can't believe they graded the 1 of 1 with PSA and they gave it a 9. LOL. So obviously there's going to be tinfoil hats coming out. I've heard a lot of tinfoil fedora, tinfoil hat type stuff. I don't know how you'd go about, like, if I were an employee at Wizards and if I were the one tasked with ensuring random fair distribution of the one ring, like, I don't know enough about behind the scenes production. How would you insert that? Where would you insert that? How would you ensure that no one tampered with it? Some people thought like, oh, it's going to be in the gift boxes that come out a month later so that no one pulls it too soon. Some people thought, oh, it's going to go to a big breaker. I don't really think they had any need to do any of that. If and when anything were ever caught to where, and this is less talking about that. I'm just using this to pivot into that, and then I'll also address the whole PSA 9 thing. But Wizards was making so much money if and when there were an email or a text or a conversation that got recorded saying, hey, make sure this ring goes in here. They're a publicly traded company. That would have been very, very bad. Like, they were just going to print so much money off this. I don't think they fiddled with any of the randomness or fiddled with anything. And then when it comes to PSA 2, I'm assuming on the way this question's worded, but I could be wrong. Like, why wouldn't they just give it a 10? I don't think they're going to grade any harder or softer on a card of this nature. Like, I heard some people saying, oh, they're going to just give it a 10. It's going to be some big influencer. If the card's a 9, generally speaking, they're going to give it a 9. Maybe if it's a borderline thing, they might tip it one way or the other for whatever reason. But, like, I am all for grading card companies a hard time when they deserve it. But whatever this comment's playing at, like, they graded the card on a scale from 1 to 10 and it got a 9. And that's just, I'm sure it's deserving of a 9 and it's got some issue, whatever. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
I pretty much agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I think I do think there is some leeway where if it's like borderline 9, 10, they would probably lean more towards a 10 because of the actual card. But if it's a solid 9, then yeah, I don't think they would just upgrade it to a 10 automatically.
And that's just the inherent thing with like PSA not having a 9.5, right? Like, it's either a 9 or a 10, and you're gonna have people either way. Like, it getting a 9, you're gonna have people making commentary about that. It getting a 10, you're gonna have people scrutinizing it, saying like, oh, there's a white dot, oh, it's slightly off center, and they're gonna, some amount of people are gonna just make noise about whatever either way. So
Yep.
Leaf Green Goblin says, what kind of cards do you sell on eBay Live? Wheels Warehouse was selling almost only Japanese. I think he's done a few 151 streams.
Yeah, Weedle's Warehouse is another good eBay Live seller. Definitely recommend checking him out as well. He's doing auctions and pack rips. He does a lot of Japanese, but then he also has English as well. Me, I'm primarily English, so I do about 40 to 50 auctions a night. Cards ranging from WotC all the way up to modern, and then singles and graded cards. And then the second half of the stream is just modern pack rips. Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Celebrations, Crown Zenith, all the Sword and Shield, or most of the Sword and Shield sets, Scarlet and Violet, stuff like that. But usually try and bring a good variety of different cards, different price points for people. I always kind of have like a few pricier cards every night. Like say something around that $50 to $100 range. Try and bring at least one of those cards every night, and then Saturday nights are my busiest nights on live. So Saturday nights I kind of do like a premiere stream with a bunch of good stuff. And it's been working out well for me so far. So hopefully it keeps up like that, and the viewership on eBay Live continues to grow further.
Hermit Man 1 says, is it a good idea to have eBay listings for other Pokemon items that are not in the trading card realm, like my Phanpy briefs? I sell, like, if and when I have any of my own things to sell, I pretty much just sell it through my eBay. Like, I've got, so I've sold Pokemon coins, I've sold Pokemon random merchandise that I have. I think it makes sense, right? Like, ultimately, it's just your eBay account with all the sales history you have, and there's a chance. I mean, I never really go into someone's store and just browse what else their store has to, like, because I do free shipping on everything anyways, so it's not like people really have that much incentive to bundle. I do have a promotion where it's like $5 off every 3 slabs you buy because I'm saving on shipping some, and I pass that along, but there's the chance that they're browsing your store for other things. Oh, they see these other items and they just buy them. So like, I don't think it hurts. The only thing I'd hesitate is if I were selling, like if I ever got back into selling video games for whatever reason. I used to flip video games for a while, like N64 stuff a lot. I would deal with more returns and issues and just scammy buyers. So if and when I ever got into something like that, I would create a secondary eBay because I wouldn't want the increased rate of negatives and issues harming my Pokemon account. That's the only consideration I'd make if I were selling something else. Completely like non-Pokemon even.
Yeah, for me, I think I would list anything Pokemon related in my eBay store. Where I kind of draw the line is anything not TCG related, so like anything Pokemon related, toys, games, cards, whatever, I would list. And then I've started to list some cryptic singles as well, which I find that I'm fine doing that because it's like another TCG. But like I also do a little bit selling coins, and for that stuff, I created a whole second eBay store because I don't really feel that like Pokemon cards and coins mix very well. So I like to keep my store looking nice and uniform, and having a random coin mixed in with all these Pokemon cards just didn't look good to me. So I did create a separate eBay store for that, just for the looks. That is something that not really bothers me, but I don't like the look of stores of like people who just do like Craigslist Hunter, Cincinnati Picker. They're both big YouTubers who do like general reselling, and they'll buy anything and list anything on eBay. And their eBay stores to me just look like such a mess because they literally have anything listed on there. Now they absolutely kill it, so they're doing very well. But just the look of those types of eBay stores, not a big fan of that.
John Jackson wants to know, what are your general thoughts on the Nagaba EV promos? Do we know the print numbers? Could they be reprinted? Print numbers are very, very high. We don't know. I'm sure they can print as many as they want. I mean, they run and control the printers. It's their cards, their promotion. They could print a lot more if they wanted to. Will they? I have no idea. My personal thoughts on the Nagaba promos, I bought thousands. I like them from a business, liquidity, flipping, making margin perspective. As just in a subjective, my personal thoughts on the art, style, all that stuff, not for me. Black and white, simple, weird looking drawings, they're just not for me. Like it's funny to look at them alongside like an alt art, like a full art alt art, using all the colors, doing all these things, and then you've just got like a crudely, I don't know if crudely is the right word, but just a different style of drawing in just black on white background. They're not for me.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Buying them, grading them, flipping them is a good move right now. Obviously, it's gonna become less and less of a play as more and more get graded. But still right now, they're doing quite well. As far as getting reprinted goes, I don't know. Possibly down the line, but I feel like there's still so much that Pokemon needs to or could reprint that would be a lot more popular. Like 151, for example. They could print a ton more of that and do very well. So I think it just depends on like how much other stuff they have to print they could reprint 151. They have all these new sets coming out that they have to print. So do they have the capacity to reprint more of these promos? I think that's the biggest factor. And then, like Dan said, I really don't like these cards whatsoever myself. I'm right with Professor Oak. He's another really big fan of these cards and this artist.
Yeah.
It looks like a 5-year-old drew the card. I do not understand it whatsoever.
And honestly, this is gonna be a hot take. This might hurt some people's feelings. When I see a lot of these like signings and artist sketches on cards, a lot of the sketches on cards hit me the same. Like this feels like just sketches. Like I don't want just a sketch on the card. I want a full illustration. Like use more of the card, use more of the colors. And when people go to these signings, and I'm not trying to yuck yums, I'm not trying to do any of that, but like me personally, it's just not for me. Like I don't want just a simplistic, super quick sketch. I want like art. I want like full-blown art, use some colors. So it's funny to me when I look at these, it just feels like someone just sketched, like someone went to a signing and this is what they sketched on the card. Because most times when I'm looking at people's Instagram posts and it's like, I love that you love it, but that just doesn't look great to me.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is taking up at least the whole picture box portion of the card. Like some of them are decently sized, but like the Eevee is absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
It takes up like a quarter of the actual box.
Yeah. Weird. Lord of the Rings collector boxes crashed back to $350. It is funny. Like just I was talking in Discord earlier with some people. Given that they stated what the approximate pull rates were of the various cards, like I think they had certain rings that were serialized to 9,000, and then the one of one, obviously 250,000 collectors boxes were made approximately. So if you have a ring, let's say we go with the full blown value of $2.5 million. Say the $2 million bounty, $2.1 million bounty was real. Even go up a little bit higher, $2.5 million. If you take a $2.5 million card out, that was one in 250,000 boxes. That's only a $10 contribution to the EV of the booster box. but all that gambler's logic or lack of logic being built in, a $10 subtraction from the EV of the box is going to plummet the value over $50 at this point, over $100 maybe at this point. It's just funny to see how overly valued the boxes were with that premium on, like, I might be able to almost retire off this or something. I might be able to make more pulling one card than I might make in my entire lifetime of working a 9 to 5. Pretty interesting dynamic there.
I think it makes sense though. Once that card is out of the equation, I think it's fairly obvious that the box prices are going to go way down.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to an extent, but then it's also like, it's just funny that it's like it went down 10 times what the actual, and that's being generous with a $2.5 million valuation on the card. Had it only had 1.25 million, then it would be a $5 EV, right? To go down 20 times. Go
ahead.
It's just interesting, like the actual EV calculation, comparing that to the market value and seeing it's very likely that a lot more of these things will be coming down the pipeline for Magic people, because and I think on a long enough timeline, it's inevitable that some kind of Pokemon product will have it inside of it. Will they do a new rehashing of a Topps Chrome, and will it stay in non-TCG? That's all a different discussion, but I think it's inevitable on a long enough timeline, because clearly it is effective. The amount of hype, the amount of publicity, the amount of everything around this product. And yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that if and when Pokemon starts to die out again, that's something that they could do to kind of generate more interest, because it definitely worked for Magic.
I'll kind of bounce
but
around.
I think with your pricing for the boxes, you're too logical. Nobody aside you is that logical, saying price should only go down $10 per box.
And I'm not saying it should only go down that much, but like when you put in the actual value of, like, say you do it at 1.25 million, well, now it's $5 per box. The fact that in 2 hours, 3 hours, people are undercutting so fast, and the box price goes down by 20 times what like the EV has dropped. It's just an interesting. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's like overly surprising. It's just interesting. It's funny to look at the math, look at the numbers, but then know that humans are just irrational, FOMO, emotional beings, and it's not surprising at all to see it.
It's the same thing as the lottery. You know you're not going to win, but people still pay because of that chance.
There's actually really,
they don't have that chance.
Yeah, there's
why pay so much?
There's funny math behind, like, the depending on what state you live in, what country you live in, they're all called different things. But around me, I think we have the Powerball and the Mega Millions. Some of them are like multi-state things, and it's funny how many more people start playing them when they're up near 300 million, 500 million, a billion, as if 50 million or 100 million wasn't enough. Now they pay more. And actually, the EV does go up as the pot goes up to a certain extent, but then so many people start buying that the odds of a split payout actually increase. So I forget what the golden number is, but like there's some number whereby the EV of a ticket actually goes down after the lottery gets too high, because too many people start buying them, and the odds of it being won is so high, and the odds of it being split 2-3 ways or more goes up and up and up. So yeah, I like math too much, and I realize that. I'm gonna just bounce around chat and try to hit like the questions and the converse. I'm gonna try to get like more of the Lord of the Rings things grouped together, and then I'll go back and I'll try to stay like more on topic. Reggie Card saying, "Get wrecked, Dan. You deserve it." On me losing all my money on Lord of the Rings boxes. Colt's on the same page as me. He feels like it was rigged. It should have been in his box. Trapper Paul says money grab by Magic. That's about all it was. I have back when I was making the Magic 30th videos, I had the little quote, somebody clipped it. I forget. I think Echo has made a little meme out of it. I wake up every day trying to figure out how to grab money. I mean, Nick, why do you think Nick is doing eBay Live? That's the way in which he's trying to grab money right now. They're a business. Obviously, they're going to try to grab money. They're going to try to make money. Money, like, what does that even mean? Money grab by magic. Yes, it was. They were trying to be in business and they were trying to make money. As if that's like, and there's tasteful ways and less tasteful ways and whatever. But like, at the end of the day, when people get so down on businesses for making money, it's just weird. Yeah, Ponga actually was in the chat saying the same thing. Isn't everything a company does a money grab? The goal of a company is to make money.
Exactly.
There was another comment or two that I wanted to grab. Your average player saying, Daniel, there is no logic. Stop using math. Yeah, very
exactly.
Very good point. And then a little more commentary. I forget where it went. I lost it. Too many comments. I'm behind. But the original question about it getting a PSA 9 was basically, yeah, like it should have been a 10. Where's the quality control, all this and that? I don't know who pulled it. I don't know if damage was done post-production in somebody pulling it, nicking it, putting it into a card saver penny sleeve. But a 9 out of 10 is like a good grade. I mean, so many cards do get... PSA is so easy to get 10s. It's reasonable to think that they should have produced it to good enough quality that it got a 10. But you can also have someone who pulled it and ran their fingernail across it, or just... they were so nervous, shaking. You can ding a card. You can make a white spot when you're putting it into a penny sleeve even. If you do it too quickly, too harshly, if you catch the corner, you can put a bit of whitening on a card just doing that. So who knows?
And then even they could have made the card pristine, but then shipping all this stuff out, it could have just been damaged in shipping.
Yeah, just being put inside of a wrapper, being put inside of a box. These things are mass produced. 250,000 boxes were made, and they were put in boxes, put on pallets, thrown around by employees, loading up the truck, unloading the truck at the distributor, reloading a new truck, unloading that truck. It's like these things do get handled a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's the comment. It should have been a 10 is what I was getting at. I did not look at the scans close up myself. I'm sure like it's probably a 9. It's probably a fair 9. I don't know if BGS... I saw people saying they're going to send it to BGS. It's going to be a guaranteed black label, blah, blah, blah. I think overall, most of these companies are not doing anything that unsavory intentionally. They're just all over the place. You crack it out and regrade it a few times, it would probably get a 10 if people didn't know what it was. And the issue is, like, obviously the grader's going to know what that is.
and there's only one of them, so they already know what the original grade was.
yeah. There's no way to remove that bias about them knowing what it was. Brad G Card says these guys have sold out. Now it's just shameless plugs. We gotta pump our businesses.
That's what we do. Build up the following for 3 years, going on 3 years, right?
We're just out here trying to grab cash.
Plug our live streams.
Like CGC, like Matt, like Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast. We're just out here trying to grab cash in our own special ways. Ponga says, do you actually think PSA charged them? I don't think so. I saw that there were some like non-BGS, PSA, CGC companies. I don't remember what the XYZ acronym was. I saw there were some companies offering to fly someone out to the country where all the Lord of the Rings movies were filmed, and this like all expenses paid trip. And there's obviously a lot of value having all the articles that will be made, all the videos that will be made. It will be shown in that beautiful work of art that is a PSA graded slab, that beautiful label, all that good stuff. Whether or not they actually charge them the $10,000, I don't know, and who cares? Like, it's such a weird thing to get like too hung up on, but people people get hung up on that, and I don't know.
I bet PSA did. They're too big of a company. I can't see them really needing that advertisement like BGS or CGC could have used. So I would imagine PSA did charge them the full amount.
Here's Keenan Montgomery says, have we talked about never buying Magic products ever again yet? It is funny. It is funny just the difference in release of, like, I have the Magic 30th here behind me, how poorly that was received. And yes, that was $1,000 for 4 packs. Collector's boosters, though, and I'm not a Magic expert by any means, I think these have been out for years now, right? Haven't there been a few years, couple years at least, of collector's boosters? How...
Yeah.
Like, how well they're received overall and how well this was received. Look at what a collector's Lord of the Rings booster is. $5 in production cost by Wizards. So we're okay with $5 being charged $250 for, but we're not okay with $4 being charged $1,000 for. Like, it's also arbitrary. It's also crazy. You put in there were different things going on with the Magic 30th. The whole, I forget the guy's name now, even saying that they would never reprint the reserve list, even with different backs and blah, blah, blah. And then they go and they do it. I guess we don't need to rehash the whole thing, but it's just funny how Magic 30th, bad, bad, bad. Lord of the Rings, like, good, good, good. All these different things they're doing. Like, they're going to find a way to extract money out of the end consumer.
Yeah.
Raji cards. I think we're off. Let me look really quick. 2019. Yeah, so 2019 thereabouts. Throne of Eldraine was the first. Yeah, people constantly whining and complaining, and then they're selling tons of products still. People are addicted. I think that can end most of our Lord of the Rings type stuff. Looks like we have a few questions about upcoming events. Brad G. Cards wanted to ask, have you booked for Long Beach yet? You were talking a little bit about Long Beach before we went live. How excited you were.
Yes. It'll be a fun trip. Hanging out with everyone and stuff like that will be a lot of fun, but I'm really actually starting to worry about inventory long term. Between Long Beach, I have I think I originally got 3 tables. I backed that down to 2. And then Charlotte, I got a half section. Now I have 4.5 tables. 3 shows, Long Beach, and then Charlotte 3 weeks after that. And then all of these eBay lives 6 nights a week. I'm going through what is that? 6 times 40, 240 cards a week through these lives. So that's a lot of cards, and I'm set for a little while, but I don't have that much inventory to be supplying all these eBay lives, all these collecticons, and all that stuff. So I was telling Dan before we started recording, I wish I had known about this eBay live thing when we booked Long Beach. Because if I had known about it, I would have skipped Long Beach and just gone to Charlotte. Probably even got like 2 tables in Charlotte. But when we booked all these collecticons, I didn't know eBay Live was going to start up, and I didn't know I was going to become so involved with eBay Live. So, yeah, I have. So to answer your question, Brad, I haven't booked my hotel just yet. I did though hear. I just heard about our section number for Long Beach. I forget what number it is, but we are right next to Chumley again in Long Beach. Close towards the entrance. We're right to the left of Chumley if you're looking at the map.
See, Brad was trying to get me to FOMO in to Long Beach all this time, and Nick doesn't even want to go anymore. See that? I'm glad I didn't go. Nick's trying to sell me his tables. Yeah, Nick's trying to sell me his tables. He doesn't want to go so bad. But yeah, you're gonna Nick's gonna have 5 tables in Charlotte. He's gonna have no inventory from all his eBay lives. He's just gonna have QR code business cards that link to his next eBay live stream.
Exactly.
Maybe you'll have to just do like you have to just do eBay live from like on site, live on site there. Just let people watch you run an eBay live. Here's my
Someone
QR
else
code.
was talking about that in one of my lives.
Yeah, you might have to. Like that's gonna be the play. Go live on eBay live for like 4 hours each of the convention days.
There we go. The trouble is you need your computer to run the live.
Oh, that's right.
Right now. You can't do it exclusively from your phone.
Yeah. Colt says, spicy take, we won't see Nick at live events next year and exclusively on eBay Live. Nick is definitely hitching the old school Pokemon wagon right on to eBay Live. Yeah. Six nights a week. That's he's going hard.
I was talking to Walrus last night about Houston. I'm gonna have to think about Houston. We'll see. We'll see on that one. I was all gung ho about Houston earlier this year, and now it's like, ugh. I don't know.
I'm not 100% on Houston.
We shall see.
I probably will go, but I'm not 100% on Houston yet. But I probably will go. So you should definitely go.
Yeah. We'll see.
You just gotta go. I do think... Get one table, and then just put business cards, put stickers, put a very small amount of inventory, sell a little bit, but then just go around with cash in your pocket and start doing. It's gonna be like, where's Cloud, where's Travis, and where's old school Pokemon? I need my buyout.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Is next year maybe do like two Collecticons, get one table, set up Saturday, and walk around Sunday. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Still a long way from next year.
Big Dad Chew says, Houston is the armpit of Texas. I do not recommend. Oh, man. That's funny.
Oh, man.
Let me find back where I was. L-Dub says, you guys off any of your 151 boxes yet? Already selling at 170 plus. I'm gonna re-bump that old that old shill I got going on from earlier in the channel. 151 for 151. So $20 sub retail, sub market, not retail, sub market. Many multiples of retail, but I see a couple orders have trickled in. I only put up 5 or 6 boxes to start of 151. At 151. So you didn't buy any, right? You didn't buy any yet?
I did not buy any. Nope. I'll buy some. Down the line. Hopefully pricing will go down. But I probably won't buy any until then. I definitely missed the boat on that one. I have been buying some 151 singles, and those have been doing very, very well on the lives. I got my hands on the Zapdos EX SAR, and that card is absolutely beautiful in person. Hopefully you can pull one of those tonight so you can see it yourself.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, I've watched a little bit of clips from different streams and stuff. I saw Wheels Warehouse pulled Greenie, a God pack.
Yep.
I ordered those. I paid $125 a box through somebody on Instagram that I got a lot of my Nagabas through. So I'm able. I mean, I kind of thought I'd be taking an L. I thought I'd buy at $125 and then the prices would tank and I'd just buy a whole lot more. But given that the prices went up some, I like being able to offer a decent price relative to market where, I mean, you're probably going to lose money if you buy it. I'm not trying to say it's plus EV or anything, but I like being able to sell it where I'm making a little bit, you're paying a little bit less. So I figured I'd throw that up there given that I had the space to do it. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, this is going way back to when we were talking about vintage versus modern a little bit. I'd rather have a PSA 6 or 7 first edition WotC Hollow than a PSA 10 modern alt art. Call me crazy. It's such an interesting dynamic because vintage versus modern, like both were just so mass printed. Like a lot of people are overly harsh, in my opinion, against ultra modern in some ways. Because like they're saying, no, this PSA 9 Unlimited Jungle Hollow is just better than the Celebrations Charizard because it's older. They printed tons of both. Like, yeah, the pops are a lot higher on the old ones, but there are still so many of both out there. Like, it's just, you're comparing two massive numbers that both of them are kind of just bad with how many are out there. So whatever... I've talked about it so many times. Like, it's not surprising that ultra modern is where the hype and where most of the money is. It's the most accessible. It's what people can find in the checkout line at Walmart and things. And it's what is in the financial interest of most net capital removers in the industry. Like, even me, like by no means do I pump any card individually, like any card at all as an investment. I'm completely the opposite of that. But if I were to want to pump anything, do I want to pump the thing that I can buy 100 of tonight at $75 a piece and grade them and sell them for $250 each in PSA 10? Or do I want to pump the card that like I have one of, and once I sell it, I have no reasonable way? Like, I would want to be pumping ultra modern. I would want to be pumping shilling the newest, latest thing that I can just get more of at will and then do it all over again when the next best set of all time comes out. So it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's a crazy time we're living in right now with all this stuff. But the demand for modern is just so much higher than WotC. And WotC, you like you said, you can't get back, but how does that correlate to like the demand? Like, WotC is tougher to get back, but there's fewer people buying WotC. Modern's easier to grade, but there's so many more people wanting to buy modern right now.
But the thing is, like, modern is always, it's, again, we don't need to hash out the whole vintage versus modern thing. In 10 years from now, modern will be different. Current modern will be vintage, right? That's the biggest argument. Like, right now, the first sets are always the first set, history, blah, 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 all that stuff. I joke about it, kind of joking, mostly not joking. The moderner, the better. Like, for a business that's removing capital from the hobby, from the industry, it is so much better for the newest, latest, greatest hype, FOMO, all these emotions, people needing this stuff. That's good for business, for everybody. All the eBays, all the whatnots, all the Heritage Golden, PWCC, the old school Pokemon, the Catch 'em All collectibles, the ZNG Emporium. Like, it is good for business for people to just think they need these things, shiny, flashy, latest, greatest, best set of all time. That's it. It's not going to pan out well for a lot of investors, I don't think, but it's good for businesses right now.
Yeah, that is true. That is true for sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
CC Republic says, I live and sell within the EU where shipping is 12 or 15 pounds to all, or euros, I believe, to all countries. I usually charge $7 euro shipping to try and add the difference to the listing price. What would you recommend? Should I just charge full? We're kind of spoiled in that we have such good shipping options relative to you over in the EU. I can ship sub $20 singles for like 65 cents through eBay standard envelope. I can ship anything above that at my own risk. I can still go plain white envelope, or I can pay like $4 to get tracked anywhere in the US. So my strategy is always just building it into the price and charging free shipping. When you're talking $12, $15, that's a lot more difficult. If you're selling only graded slabs that are like 100, 200 plus, you can probably just work it into the price free shipping. But if you're selling a lot of things that are like 5, 10, 20 bucks, you can't really hide $12, 12 euro shipping in there. You probably need to just charge the actual item price and then charge actual shipping cost, and then you would thereby be encouraging people to buy multiple items from you. You could do 15 euro shipping for your first item, and then €1 additional for each additional item, or just 15 euros for the first item and then free for every additional. You would need to do a thing where like you're incentivizing multiple things. Nick will probably talk about when he used to be on TCG Player. You'd sell a 5-cent single, you'd lose money, but then if you sold 20 of them to one buyer, like that's where you make your money. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough being in the US because here most people offer free shipping, so I feel like I have to offer free shipping. Plus, I think buyers do like to see the free shipping. Trying to be as similar to the Amazon model as possible. Free shipping, quick turnaround times, all of that type of stuff. But international, I would look and see what other sellers are doing. Personally, I have absolutely no idea. But look and see what the majority of other sellers are doing. Are most sellers charging like 50% of the shipping, or are most sellers charging full shipping, or what are most people doing? I would follow what the common trend is. If most people are charging the full shipping, then I would do that. If most people are doing like what you're doing, I would stick with that. But the biggest thing, like Dan was saying, is to try and incentivize people to buy more cards within one order, so that way you're not having to pay as much shipping by running multi quantity discounts if you're selling like cheaper cards, or running like Dan has his $5 off 3+ cards, running promotions like that to try and incentivize people to buy more than one card. So that way they're saving the shipping, and you're saving shipping by not having to send 2 orders at once. And another thing is to just emphasize that in your item descriptions. Tell people that, hey, shipping is whatever amount, 7 euros, 12 euros, 15 euros, whatever amount. But if you buy 2 cards, it'll be free for every other card, or however you arrange it. It'll be $12 for the first card plus $2 for the next card, however you have it set up. Make sure to kind of emphasize that in the item description. Not everyone reads descriptions, but I think a decent amount of people do, and maybe they'll see that and say, "Oh, since shipping's so much cheaper for the second card, let me go ahead and grab something else."
Yep,
that's what I would do.
Yeah, good call on just checking out what like some of your competitors do. Definitely makes sense. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think he redropped it just a minute ago, because I see it in my ultra modern chat, and I see it in my vintage chat that I use for highlights. Question for the live: with all the success you guys have had selling in the past year and a half, how did your approach change within all aspects of your business, financially, personally, etc.? Oof, that's a big one. You want to start there?
Let's see. I was writing something. Change aspects of the business, financially, personally, etc. So for me, it's it has changed, but it hasn't been like drastic changes. I'm still doing a lot of the same stuff that I started out doing back in 2009, 2010. It's just on a much larger scale now. Like I'm still selling 99-cent singles on eBay. I can't see a world where I give that up completely. I was talking with someone the other night. Now that eBay Live is becoming more and more of a thing for me, how am I going to approach the modern sealed product? Am I still going to open boxes for the singles? And I think yes, I absolutely am, because now I have a really good avenue for grading those singles and selling those singles through the live. But what do I do with all the bulk? Do I now just bulk it out, or do I list it as singles? And for me, it's like I could get 2-3 cents a card selling them as bulk, or I could list them and it's a lot more work, but I can get 99 cents a piece for those singles, where if you buy one, I'm losing money, but if you buy two, I'm making way more than that 2-3 cents. So for me, it's always made sense to me, and it takes a tremendous amount of work, but for me, it's still worthwhile doing that work. So I think that's my it's been about the same, but it's just gotten bigger. I've been shipping more orders, been working a lot more. Stuff that has changed for me is grading. I'm trying to get more and more into grading. I was always grading a few cards. Back in the day, it was like submissions of 10, 20 cards. And then I would start, as the business would grow, I would start doing submissions of 100, 200, 300, 400 cards. But it was never consistent. It was always like super irregular submissions. I would send one in, I would get 400 cards back from PSA. I would list all those, start selling all those, and then when I realized, oh, hey, I'm almost out of cards, let me go ahead and send another submission off. So consistency is a really big one for me, both in grading and just like trying to be consistent with eBay in general. So there's that. And then obviously this year has had a lot of changes. This has been quite the pivotal year for me with the business. Between trying to figure out where I want to go. The beginning of the year, I was thinking about cutting back on eBay and doing more of the collecticons. And then I was thinking about combining collecticons with having like an office building / store. And then this eBay Live opportunity came up, and I basically threw both of those ideas out the window and said I'm going to exclusively focus on eBay Live. And so that's definitely been the biggest change for me, because that's completely changed like my work schedule. Now that I'm doing these eBay Lives at night, I don't have nighttime to hang out and watch TV. So now I kind of week one of doing these daily eBay Lives, I was just nonstop working from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and that very, very quickly burned me out, to the point where over the last weekend, I was supposed to go to a card show on Sunday, and I just could not go. I needed a day off. So now this week, I've kind of changed my schedule. So I'm working similar to Dan, where I'll wake up in the morning, do all my packaging, and then call it quits around 4:30, somewhere in that time frame. So that way I can have a couple hours off before getting back to work and doing the eBay Live. And that's been a much better schedule to manage. So this year has definitely been the biggest year for me in terms of changes. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, there's so much here that I could touch on, and you talked about consistency, and I didn't want to cut in and slow you down, but I wanted to jab with consistency in all respects, aside from YouTube, your own personal YouTube. Though you are here, though, yes, so yes. I know I poke fun at that a lot, but you are still here. I hope we don't lose you anytime soon, as we talked about in the last episode. But I'm going to make some videos, and I think Nick touched on it a little bit, but everything is just, I'm a spreadsheet guy, I'm a calculation guy, scaling business, sustainability of certain aspects of the business, and optimizing one's business. It's not just optimizing, going deeper, optimizing one's life. It's not just necessarily optimizing for dollars and cents. You need to optimize for your sanity. You need to optimize for your happiness. And I don't have everything like fully figured out still. I'm working through it. But yeah, certain tasks, like if I was Nick and me being myself, looking at my pack rip streams, looking at my YouTube, looking at my eBay, looking at, well, Troll and Toad Evo's leaving me at some point soon. But how sustainable is it? How replicable is it? How much money do I ultimately make on an hourly basis? You can kind of like work out all these individual factors and you can just calculate it. And maybe I'm fine making half as much money on an hourly basis working on my YouTube because I enjoy it more. But like if Nick loves that 99-cent single grind and it makes him $30 an hour, but he can consign cards and make $50 an hour. You just got to look at the two numbers and like see if it makes sense, see what makes more sense. It's just all like one big multivariable formula going on there. So I don't have all the answers yet. I don't know exactly what my schedule will look like a year from now, 2 years from now. But as of right now, like, I guess part of what I've done is like taking the foot off the gas a little bit more and more. I definitely want to do more zoo trips. I just got back from Legoland midweek. A little bit hectic getting back and trying to get fully caught up. Live stream today, live stream tonight, all the packages to get out. More packages depending on how many I sell tonight on the live stream. But yeah, you can clearly see Nick and I are like still trying to figure it out. We're still trying to optimize for ourselves. So ever changing thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're never gonna figure it out completely, and just stick with what you're doing forever and ever. It's always going to be changing.
Brad G. Card says, Dan, can you just admit you're the businessman and not the Mexican fisherman? The whole parable of the Mexican fisherman thing I like to talk about. Very much the fisherman. Look at me. Look at little old me. Look at little old Nick, one-man operations. Then look at like big businessman James, E&G Emporium. The man's out there scooping up all the fishermen. I mean, he's gonna be franchising soon. He's gonna be going worldwide at some point. He's got office locations. He's got like 3 employees on his way to 30. That's not me. That's never gonna be me.
Speaking of employees, though, I rehired. Got some summer help, which will hopefully turn into school year help as well. This past few weeks, like I said, have been absolutely brutal. I've been loving the eBay lives, but it's taking up so much time. To the point where my days are basically packaging orders, answering messages, and getting prepped for eBay lives. I haven't listed any buy it now stuff in my eBay store in a couple of weeks at this point. And I'm starting to run low on booster packs, and I haven't even had time to open build and battle decks, Charizard UPCs, all of that stuff, to kind of replenish my pack stock. So I finally reached out to a friend of mine whose son is really into Pokemon, and asked him if he was looking for any summer jobs. And he's the son. I got in touch with the son, and he said he was definitely interested in helping out. So finally got someone to help me out. Project for the next week or so is going to just be opening product, getting me the loose packs, organizing like the stamp promos for me to list those individually at some point. But he just started yesterday, and it's already like a sigh of relief on my end. I was able to dump off all kinds of boxes to him and let him take care of all that. So that's going to be really, really nice, and hopefully it'll be something where he'll do it throughout the summer, and then probably cut back because he's still in high school. So be able to cut back a little bit and still help me out over the school year as well.
So are we talking 1099 employee? Are we talking W-2? What kind of like tax business structure are we talking here? Or feel free to plead the fifth.
No comment. No comment.
Empire of Nostalgia says, what you think of the 25th anniversary Japanese and Chinese specialty products? Do you think they would be a good long-term investment for collectors to buy? I don't do the whole long-term investment thing. I think some of them are pretty cool. I think a lot of them are being hyper stonked on, FOMO'd into. Will they pan out? It all depends on cost basis, and it depends on how much they print and if they reprint the crap out of them and where Pokemon ends up in the future. I'm just not going to touch it.
what was this question?
The 25th anniversary Japanese and Chinese specialty products.
Oh, I like the Chinese ones. Those six boxes. I personally like those ones. Um, the Japanese is tough because the Japanese boxes I think are absolute garbage. And then the promo packs are searchable. So are those good? I don't know. The Weedle actually mentioned in one of his live streams a product I never knew about. I believe it's a 7-Eleven product or something like that. It's a sealed box and you get the packs and some of the promo packs. So that kind of eliminates being able to search it. So I think that's decent. And then I really do like the Chinese products. Those six boxes. I think they look really good. But as far as an investment, possibly, maybe. I'm very bullish on the English side of the 25th anniversary, specifically the loose packs. I've set a good number of those packs aside for the long term, specifically for an investment. So I am very bullish on 25th anniversary. And I do think long term that will do well.
I did forget to say, I saw the comment by Ponga. Nick, I will quit right now and work for you. Let me know. You told him to send over his resume. Yeah. Do you still play Pokemon Go or no? I haven't played in years now at this point.
I actually never got into Pokemon Go. I was into it for like a week, but I was never that into it.
Hermit Man 1 says, what are your thoughts on Niantic laying off hundreds, canceling new game rollouts, but at the same time focusing on Pokemon Go as main priority? I don't have any extensive thoughts. I guess I'll just quickly say a lot of those like freemium games that are technically free to download, but then they have tons of upcharges. I think the natural life cycle of a game like that is that they, from the jump, they make a disproportionate amount of their money off of like whales, off of a small percent of people that are big spenders. Like I play RuneScape. It technically is, it's a paid game, so you have to pay for a membership. But then there are a lot of people that just like buy bonds and they gamble away the money, or whatever they do with the money. It's just like the long-term eventuality of any kind of a game. RuneScape 3 more so with all the buyables, the buyable experience and things they have, and all these different like Clash of Clans type games. It's just the road they end up all going. I mean, I used to play Pokemon Duel too when that was a thing, and I avoided putting real money in, and I suffered because of it. But yeah, they're just gonna, whatever way they find to do it, they're just gonna milk all the money they can out of the people that stick around with it. So it's unfortunate for people who really enjoy the game and want to play it for free and not feel like they're missing out on the ability to do whatever they want to do. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I can't stand those types of games, but there's so many of them now where you can just see like how much money these companies are making, because if they weren't making much money on them, there wouldn't be as many of these games. But since there's so many of them, they're obviously making a killing. And like you said, I think it's the minority of people who are actually putting in money to play to win type of thing.
Ghetto asked, and quickly I'll answer, are you guys going to Worlds? Neither of us is going to Worlds. I should have hit that one when we were talking about events and stuff, but I missed it. Tyler Nishino says, thoughts on XY era slabs like Team Aqua's Kyogre or even things in Ancient Origins? They're fine. I know it's like, what do you think on buying them and then making money? I'm not going to buy them from you for more money than they're going for today. So that's the only extent to which I can comment on them. I will not be your greater fool to buy them from you down the line. I can say that on these. I can say that on the Japanese and Chinese 25th. I can say that on just about anything because I'm not buying much these days as far as like as a consumer, as a collector.
I think there's some decent XY cards. You have some really good ones like the Charizard from Flashfire. I really like the Gyarados from Breakpoint, the secret rare. Really like that one. The Gengar full art. I forget what set that's from, but really like that one. But overall, I think there's a lot that are just decent, and personally, I more so like the Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. Like just speaking from like the looks of those cards. Personally, I like those cards more than like your generic XY cards. So which ones will do better long term? I don't know. I would personally lean more towards Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. Who knows, though? Who knows?
I see Mr. Walrus just popped into the chat. Imagine having your podcast on a Friday. The arrogance shaking my head. We were originally going to push to Thursday night at 9 as we do for some of our guests, but that interfered with my office hour for the Patreon. That interfered with Nick's eBay Live. I didn't even end up getting home till like 9:30. So we try to. I think the week that you take a vacation too, I think we're gonna have to push the podcast an entire week. So from time to time we will have little adjustments to the schedule, but overall we're staying quite consistent with PokeFlipz. And nice to see you here, Mr. Walrus.
No, actually, we lucked out with my vacation. I don't ever delay the podcast. We'll be recording the.
That was all on me with Legoland.
The day before I go on vacation for the next episode. So then
perfect.
Our off week will be the week that I'm on vacation.
Perfect.
I plan my vacations around PokeFlipz, unlike some people. But Mr. Walrus's comment, imagine having your podcast on Friday, the arrogance. My response would be, imagine joining a podcast 75 minutes late.
Oh, there we go. The call out. BB says we have been consistent for 2.5 years, except when we aren't consistent. Hey, you show me a podcast that's run longer with we've never skipped a whole episode. I think there's been a time or two where we've pushed a week, I believe.
Last year my vacation fell right on the week that we were supposed to record, so we had to do like a back to back week or something like that.
So that lie will probably fit in a 60-second clip by itself. I would never push our podcast except for last year when I pushed our podcast. That might have fit within the 60-second clip window on YouTube. I think we got him there, all in one clip, unedited. I got jumped to the bottom, so I'm trying to catch back up and find where I was. We got Pikachu. I just almost started speaking out loud Pikachu's troll question.
Oh boy.
Now we're at your employee. We might be just about caught up with actual questions, I think.
Man. 2:30? Yeah. What are we gonna do for the next couple hours?
I see my chat disconnected at one point too, so maybe I missed a couple things, but
I was wondering if that was you too, because I saw that too. I've never had that happen before.
I see it happen very rarely, but more troll questions coming in. Oh, here we go. Tom B must have met you at an event recently. It was really great to meet you in Revere last weekend. I bought the Grookey on the ball and the U Nagaba Pikachu from you. When's the next local event you'll be around here?
So awesome meeting you in Revere as well. Appreciate the purchase. Those are nice shows because those are it's about an hour away from me, and then Jake Pokenomics lives right around the area too, so we're able to go to those shows together. So those ones are nice. I do enjoy going to those ones, but like I was saying earlier with the eBay lives that I've been getting into. It's there's just so many, there's not enough hours in the day to do everything. So it's do I want to, while those shows are a lot of fun, do I want to spend all day vending at one of those shows and then hop on eBay Live at night? Or do I want to be able to take a day off and then hop on eBay Live at night? Because like all the shows are over the weekend, and that's typically when I take a little bit of time off. So as far as vending at any more local shows, I don't know right now. I think I'll definitely be attending more local shows as a buyer, trying to buy cards if possible. But vending, I don't know anymore. Beginning of the year, I would have said next month at the next what are those shows even called? The one the Beantown Card Show. Whatever he changed the new name to. But now I don't know if I'll be able to attend that one. I'll maybe every couple of months go to that one because like I said, it's nice and local. It's usually has a good turnout, but I don't think I'll be able to go every month, and he's doing them every month. So yeah, short answer is I couldn't tell you, but it was great to meet you as well over the weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a question geared towards Nick, but it comes down to just for people who are full-time, you've got to optimize your time, again, for happiness and finances, just your whole picture overall. If you're doing this on the side, if you're doing this just as a hobby, there are so many events, there's so many things pulling you in every direction. Like, even if you're just looking, like, don't even look at actual in-person events. Look at the amount of content on PokeTube. Look at, I know my watch later will run between 100 videos long, and then I just need to cull off like the whole list and start from scratch, or I feel like I'll have nothing for like a week or two. It's just, that's the way life goes, right? Like, you can only be, you're one person in one place at one time, and you've got to make the decisions and optimize. And I've actually talked with like Rock Pokemon with Connor a bit. There are periodic shows in like Syracuse, which is not very far from me at all, and I really want to make it, but it's like looking at my calendar for the summer. We have so many family trips we want to do. We want to utilize our Zoom memberships and like have time with the family. We've got graduation parties and weddings and birthday parties, and like, when and how am I ever going to make it to any of these shows? Because even though it's only a 45-minute drive, like, that's kind of a whole day thing. It's just so... Yep. There's always so much going on. It's tough. But yeah, that's why I'm not going to Worlds. That's why I'm only going to do 2 to 4 maybe events a year, likely slanting towards like Collecticons. And I know you mentioned after Card Party happened, you're like thinking about doing Card Party, but then like if Worlds is announced in the United States, you're probably going to want to try to think about that, and you're going to want to try to do a couple Collecticons, and before you know it, you're going to be looking at like 6 or 8 events, and how that times in with your eBay Live, and yeah, how that times in with your eBay Live, like it gets tough. Let me throw before I get in trouble. Before he charges back, Ponga, welcome to PokeFlipz, new member. Appreciate you.
Before he charges back.
Oh
man. His new comment, Dan ignoring my membership. Typical.
I saw that come in, so I'm like, oh, I better throw this up there.
Oh man.
Anything else to add on the
Appreciate
whole?
it, yeah.
Anything else to add on the whole events and trying to optimize your time or anything? I'm definitely gonna have multiple videos. One of them is like scalability. Huge part of scalability is just managing your time. Like an easy way to scale is to hire more people. But I, for many reasons, really don't want to go that route, at least not directly. And I'll touch on that in the video. I've kind of touched on it before. But that's one easy, like low-hanging fruit way to scale. I say easy, but it's not like there's a lot of headaches. There's a lot of things that come with that. Even if you have great employees, there's just a lot of bureaucratic paperwork type stuff you have to do. And you can pay people to do that. And still you have to interface with them. You have to get it all set up. You have to get the ball rolling. But yeah, that's a big thing for scalability for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's tough being doing everything yourself for sure.
Card Palace wants to know, how do you guys ship a single booster pack of a set from like Sword and Shield? How the heck do you profit from such a sale? eBay standard envelope. It's only like 65 cents or whatever. 60. I think it's 60 if it's an ounce, and then like it scales up a little bit up to 2. I think it caps at 3 ounces, but yeah, eBay standard envelope, as long as it's a sub $20 pack. That's the issue with certain cards. Like there's kind of an interesting dynamic around like the $20 to $25 space, because it's more profitable to sell a card at $19.99 than it is to sell it at like $23.99, because you need to pay like, well, I guess $22.99 ish, because obviously your eBay fee goes up an extra like 40 cents or so, and then your postage goes up like $4. So it's kind of like a dead zone from 20 to 24 ish. I would rather price my single at $19.99. And if you search my eBay store, like a lot of the Nagaba promos, even though there were people pricing like 21, 22, I just went $19.99 with most of mine, and they sold pretty well.
Yeah, I do the same thing. eBay standard envelope. I'll always ship them, even if it's a single pack. You might be able to get away with the 1 ounce option, but I always go the 2 ounce option, the non-machinable. Who knows if it does anything different, but I always think it's a little bit safer going that route. And then for 2 packs, I'll also go eBay standard envelope. So I'll basically do I'll get one of those Ultra Pro graded card sleeves, put the 2 packs in. So like if the sleeve is, so like if this is the sleeve right here. Oh man, can't even see the screen. So pretend this is the sleeve right here. Put 1 pack in sideways on the bottom, 1 pack in sideways on the top, and then put 2 card savers, semi-rigid card savers, on both sides, kind of sandwiching it together, and that seems to work out well. And then once you get up to 3 packs, that's when I switch over to first class mail, and it's actually 3 packs that I'm losing money on, because you have to switch to first class mail. So 1 and 2 packs I can make money on, 4 and above I can make money on, but 3 packs is where I lose money. So if you want me to lose money, buy a 99-cent single or 3 booster packs.
So go click the affiliate link below. Make sure Nick ships every day, so make sure you just buy them at least like 24 hours apart. Buy 1 99-cent single, and then 25 hours later buy 3 $3 booster packs, whatever they may be. Because if you do it in one day, then he can just hit the combine items. He can combine orders, and then you're not getting them as good.
Yep, exactly.
TCG Caravan says, if you had to make a play on buying large quantity of low-end cards sub $5, what would you speculate on? My answer is Amazing Rares and certain Galarian galleries. One notable one that I did a while back was like the Greninja Gold Star. I don't know how well that's panned out. I don't know what the price of those are sealed. They're probably up slightly from where they were, but I really like the card. So I bought a few hundred of them, maybe 300, 500, I don't know. But Yeah, I did a TCG player stream few weeks ago, and I showed a lot of super cheap ones that I bought, not crazy quantity of, but maybe like 50 to 100 of each. Some amount I was going to be grading, going for like the CGC Perfect play or the Black Label play. I'm still doing that a little bit, but the market's still in a place where if you get a card in plastic for cheap enough and put a 10 or higher on the label, like it's hard to be punished in a lot of ways. So yeah, similar to you, like high liquidity species and just cool looking arts. You can't really go wrong there, I think.
I need to think here. Sub $5 cards. I do like your Galarian Galarian Gallery stuff from Crown Zenith. I think there's definitely some good opportunity there. Like the Pikachu, that's right around $5. I think that would be a good one. Even like I think the Mew's a little bit more expensive, but like the Mew, that's another fantastic artwork. And then outside of that stuff, I would even go for like the Radiant Charizard from Crown Zenith. I think that one might be a little bit higher than 5, but it's like 5 to 7. And then even like Hollow Charizard from Pokemon Go, that's well under $5. I think that card looks really, really good. So yeah, mainly like the modern popular Pokemon that have the good arts, like the Pikachus, the Charizards, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and obviously, like if you look at the market price of some of the CGC Amazing Rares and even some of the PSA Amazing, they are like so low, they're destroyed. It's not so easy that you just can't go wrong. It's not like 2020-esque for a bit there, but still, if you look close enough, you can find some opportunity there. And if you're buying a card that you like, I mean, if you're buying 500 of a card that you like, some people say it, oh, I'll just buy them all if the price goes to 0. I don't really often believe that at all. I don't want to be in a spot where I have 500 Gold Star Greninjas that are worth nothing. But there is something to be said about Brandon memeing you in the chat. Says you named 10 cards greater than $5.
I think of that.
I just pulled up TCG Player though. The Amazing Rares do surprise me.
I was just typing to Brandon. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, what was that?
The Amazing Rares, it does surprise me. Like those cards are really cool looking. I really do like them. I have 50 of each somewhere. I think a long time ago, back when they were cheap. They're still really cheap. Maybe I'll buy 50 more of each. It's one of those scenarios where like price goes down because price goes down. Will those ever be $5, $10, $20 cards 5-10 years from now? I have no idea. But they feel cheap. There are still ways, like even some of those cards, there's still ways to profitably get rid of them. So I don't know. What were you typing out to Brandon? You want to just say it on voice?
Oh yeah, I'll just say it. I was gonna say, Brandon. It just depends on where you grab pricing from. If you're grabbing pricing from my live streams, then you don't have a single $5 envelope sale. But if you hop on over to TCG Player, you might be able to find some of those cards for a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, let me pull up right now. Radiant Charizard. That's one that I did buy like 50 of or something a little bit ago. $4.99. $4.99.
Right below $5.
So, low list is $5.02, but market price is showing as $4.99. So yeah, you're sneaking in there.
Sweet buy.
Yeah, Pokebarn just hopped in. Welcome, Pokebarn. We did talk about the one of one ring a little while back for a decent bit. Nick will have it timestamped tomorrow. Busy Bee says, are cards being warped when pulled from packs legitimate claim for an eBay refund? Buyer claimed and showed pics of semi-warped Japanese holo cards and demanded a refund for item not as described. You'll probably always lose that case with eBay. eBay's going to stand with the customer there, whether it's valid or not, which is kind of an unfortunate thing. That's why grading cards is so nice. You can kind of not accept returns, and you can force things to be final sale. If they really do get kind of scammy on you and just lie, the customer can almost always force things back. So in my opinion, personally, it is not a legitimate reason for a buyer to claim item not as described, because a little bit of warping, a little bit of curving has no effect on the grade, has no effect on, you put it in a sleeve, you put it in a binder, it flattens out. So it really has no effect on the card condition overall. I think you can call a card near mint plus that has a slight curve to it.
Yeah, I ran into that the other night on my eBay Live. I was selling some WotC hollows, and they all have this curve. These ones are fairly substantial, but they're all near mint. It's just they're a little bit warped because of the humidity. And I called them as being near mint, and I had someone say, "Are they still near mint because they're warped?" And I said, "Yeah, they are. I don't lower the condition at all. I don't think PSA, BGS, CGC, they wouldn't lower the condition at all. And you can flatten it out by just putting it under a book or something for a couple of days, and it won't damage the card at all. But in terms of eBay, as long as the buyer opens up the return request within the 3-day time frame, and no matter what the reason, eBay is going to side with the buyer. So that's a lose-lose situation, unfortunately. I would just accept the return or just give them a refund if it's a cheap pack, and it's not worth paying return shipping, unless you really want to make the buyer's life difficult, which I have done on occasion. But yeah, you're probably most likely going to lose that case, and if you try and fight it, it's just going to as a strike against your cases closed without seller resolution thing.
Mr. Walrus is sick of conspiracy theorists talking about this whole flat card theory. There's clearly a curve. Cards are not flat. Oh, we missed you for the first hour or so, Mr. Walrus. And yeah, a couple people were surprised that we ship packs ESE. I think the only packs I have on my store right now are Celebrations and then McDonald's ones. So I don't have any of like the full thickness ones, but you can do like a standard 11 card pack or 10, 11 card pack. No issue.
Yep. You are the ESE. If you haven't shipped ESE before, you are going to run into cases where the tracking never shows delivered, or the buyer actually never does receive the cards. You are going to have to refund orders occasionally, but it beats having to pay $4 shipping on a $3.99 pack.
Yeah, definitely. Brandon said, time to play some 3 booster pack orders and use the 20% coupon. Double whammy. Oh.
Thanks, Brandon.
Do we think, your average player says, do we think English collector greed is the reason we don't have English God packs? Do we think English collector greed? I don't know if I understand this question. Do you?
I don't think how greed has anything to do with it. But at the end of the day, it's not like people wouldn't be hoarding the product. If Pokemon US ever did introduce God packs, it's not like people would hoard the product, because you don't know what booster box they're going to be in. You would just have more people opening the product. So I can't see it being greed. I honestly don't know why we don't get God packs on the English side. I wish we did. That would be awesome. So yeah, I have no idea on that one.
Yeah, I really don't
But
know
I think
either.
it would just overall be a benefit. People would be buying more, opening more. I can't see the downside to it.
Mr. Walrus said, "We're godless in the West. That's the only reason. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it." And then Cheeks Galore says, "We don't get God packs because the pull rates are way easier in English." Yeah, I have no idea.
Are they? I couldn't tell you. I don't open enough Japanese.
Me neither. Brad G Card says, "Why is Nick tripping about inventory for when there's free money on TCG Player?" Yeah, you just need to go start buying like mass quantities of singles. Platform arbitrage, right? Buy a bunch on buy $5,000 on TCG Player, sell it on eBay Live for $8,000 or whatever. Make your margin.
That's true. That's true.
Mr. Walrus says, "Can you guys talk a little on what it feels like to not work Fridays?" Hey, this is work. When you're full time, this is work. We're both gonna be working away the nights too. 9:30 p.m. over on YouTube for me, 9 p.m. over on eBay Live for Nick. On that grind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you guys think about the Mute Altar in 151 being a promo in English? I like having cool, nice promos. I really liked a lot of the specialty set promos they've had of late. The Gold Star Greninja, the SM210 Stained Glass Birds, the Champions Path Charizard V. There's a lot of really cool. And could those cards be more valuable if they were elusive chase cards in the set? Like, absolutely. But I think it's fine having mass quantity, accessible, really nice art too. So I think 151 has plenty of like good chase and really good art in the set. That one specific card being a promo, I don't think is like a massive deal personally. But maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of wish they kept it in the set. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens to the English side of things. I'm really curious about 151. For one, are we going to get the Master Ball reverses, or is that going to be a Japanese exclusive? I hope we do, but it'll be interesting to see if we actually do get that. And then with the whole all of our promos that were cards in Japan, be interesting to see what happens there. I am glad that we do have some cards like the like the Pikachu, the SV1. That was a promo in Japan, and we got it in a promo in English. So that one's a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. No, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I did notice. Did you notice there's only one metal card in the Mew UPCs? It's just the Mew. There's no metal Mewtwo. So you get the Mew and the Mewtwo promo cards, but then you only get the one metal card. I was wondering if that was because they don't want another Celebrations ordeal where they can't print enough. And I think the main reason they couldn't print enough was because of the two metal cards. So cutting the metal cards in half, they'll be able to print double the amount.
Damn shrinkflation getting us again. I'm sure the retail is going to be, well, the retail is going to be more, right? New inflated. We're spending more money on less. We're only getting half the metal cards, so they're always going to get theirs, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think 151 is going to be an exciting set. The fact that I'm excited to open it tonight in Japanese. It'd be interesting if they were to go to a scenario where sets release at the same time, where it's not like 3 months ahead of time that all these arts are coming out in Japanese. We're just getting them together. But I feel like I'm happy either way. And I don't know what's optimal. I don't know what's better for the market. I guess that they probably mess around with it. They do different things like the Scarlet Violet, easier pull rates, changing the pull rates. They mess around with things and they pay attention. They have a lot of people looking at a lot of data, and they're trying to optimize cash grabbing for sure. Grimer Collects asks, how's the zoo doing? I'm assuming that's Metazoo. Native is doing really well. I've actually still had boxes trickling out. I mean, nowhere near the liquidity or the volume of Pokemon, but I've had boxes trickling out. I think I'm like 107 on eBay and then like 105 on TCG Player. I need to take stock of, I need to do an inventory on how many I have left, because I opened 10,000 packs, but I opened primarily like all my non-booster box stuff, and I did open a lot of booster boxes too. But disproportionately, what I have left is all booster boxes, because I wanted to have those like longer term over, instead of theme decks and release event decks, and I sell the promos and the sealed decks out of those. But yeah, overall, like I feel like it's in a good spot personally. I know obviously the market and certain people have their own takes on it all, and they think it's been long dead and gone for however long now. There has been some interesting stuff. I see Mr. Walrus, with gambling laws changing, how will prices be affected when Pokemon has to disclose pull rates and print runs, hypothetically? It is a very interesting thought, because I know Fanatics, have you seen that news where Fanatics is potentially cracking down on some amount of the live breaks and things like that? That could actually have major effects on eBay Live if and when any of that ever becomes like more broadly law. I just,
yeah,
it's interesting how all these card games, not even just TCGs, but collectible cards only, like no game tied to them. They're just scratch offs. They're just scratch offs in a different package, marketed primarily towards kids. But it's not just cards though. You go to the toy section, which I've done more recently, having kids now. Like my son just bought a Lego Mario figure, but he didn't buy a figure. He had to buy like a blind box, and you have all these different toys that are like blind boxes. You get a chance at getting this, and instead of just buying the 8 that they want, they have to buy 20 packs and pull one of like, you gotta try to pull what you want. It's a more effective way. Like, why sell someone what they want for $5 when you can sell them a 1 in 100 chance at it for $5 or for $3 or whatever? This whole loot box, it is really crazy how like the core fundamental product of our hobby, of this whole industry, is just gambling. Kind of doesn't feel great to think about how all that feeds, and there's been so many conversations on how that feeds into people's addictions and things like that. But yeah, I don't know enough about what might be coming down the pipeline on that, but it is a very interesting thought.
I think there is definitely like true gambling aspects with all like the added stuff. But just like opening packs, I don't see that as I don't see that as gambling. Because at the end of the day, you're still getting something. You're obviously chasing the higher end cards, but you're still getting a product. I don't know. I do think there is a difference, and I do think that people need to, companies need to crack down on all of like the additional stuff outside of opening packs. But just like opening packs for people, I don't see the issue there.
And that's where AP Sports Card says, I don't think the Fanatics news is trying to get ahead of any law. I think that's just Fanatics wanting to control the point of sale, because it does look poorly on them if and when, like we've had all these whatnot videos where someone pulls a Moonbreon, someone pulls a, what is it in sports, like a Jambalaya or a Downtown or whatever these different parallels are that stick out really strongly. from just the edges. And you'll see them fanning through cards. You'll see the edge that is clearly the Moonbryon, clearly the whatever chase card is. Then they'll mysteriously set the pack down slightly off screen. Things will fumble in the background, and then they'll come back on screen and it's just gone. So yeah, maybe it's just Fanatics wanting to avoid those kinds of scenarios. And then Whatnot had it going on. I think they've largely cracked down on it, but definitely not 100% as far as I'm aware. The duck races and selling $5 packs for $20 with a bounty, and people resealing packs to make sure there's not a fire energy in there, because that would trigger a $1,000 bounty or whatever. And they're already gambling enough. They're already fundamentally gambling enough, and there's already enough money to be made. Like, that's what always gets me. There's enough money to be made just selling things above board, selling things for reasonable amounts of money. And people always just need to take it the next step. People always need to go further with it. And making $100 an hour ripping packs isn't enough. They need to mess with the odds and make it so they're making $300 an hour or whatever it may be. It's definitely sad.
But it's going to be tough to change at this point, because that's what people want. The people in these streams want those types of bounties or whatever it is. If you're just doing like regular pack rips on Whatnot, you're not going to get the viewers as someone who is giving you a chance to win whatever alt art or whatever expensive card.
Yeah, and it goes back to the $5 drop in EV from the one ring being pulled, and the box price plummets $100 because people want that. Like, even though they're not going to get it, like, people just want the chance to get something crazy. And in this Lord of the Rings product, it was at least controlled by a company that we have some amount of trust in, that they have some amount of accountability if they were to do things blatantly scamming and whatever. But when you have just random person on Whatnot being able to go live from their phone, product off screen beforehand, whatever PK makes all the example videos of what he can, what can be done off screen. And yeah, he recently, what was that in? I think it was in a live stream with Jake and someone. He ripped. And the sound was way off, but he ripped like a Boundaries cross box or something, like a black and white era box, and then it had, I forget what the packs even were inside of it, because I mostly listen, not watch.
Like,
but
Strike.
Yeah,
that was on our Peak stream.
Oh, that's right. That was
with
on
Jake
Peak
and
stream.
Mason.
Yep. Clearly just shows you though, like, when these people have infinite amount of time off stream to prep for a live. Like, if you buy Nick's product tonight on eBay Live, you have to trust him. And Nick has stuff at stake. Nick has his eBay account at stake. Nick is not going to be screwing around with $5 or even $25 or even $50 packs. I would trust Nick. $1,000 packs. But I'm selling $600 packs of this booster box. You've got to have some amount of trust in me that I'm not going to mess with them. You've got to, like, and clearly, I mean, I have a business that I've built over the past several years. It's my full-time gig. A lot of these people randomly doing a Whatnot stream, they have no account that's tied to with anything they care about. They have nothing to lose, really. I hope eBay Live stays very restrictive. I hope eBay Live does not open up and become just the Wild West for anyone who has a camera and an eBay account. I hope they really, really stay strict with it. But I guess we'll see where it goes. And Fanatics doing what they're doing is kind of trying to get out in front of and prevent any kind of unsavory things happening down the pipeline with the product that they're creating, I guess. Brandon says he doesn't trust Dan. He just trusts his credit card company to fulfill the chargeback.
Oh, man.
Hermit Man 1 says, will YouTube cracking down on ad blockers making it so you allow ads or go YouTube Premium? Are you concerned about viewership going down? I don't know enough about, I mean, the way that I have always understood these things like that, it's always kind of like a race. Like, Can YouTube do something so extensive that ad blockers will cease to exist altogether? Maybe. But my understanding is that ad blockers have had fights over the past decades with ad utilizing companies and pages, and whatever they implement that bans ad blockers, won't the new ad blockers just come out with some way to circumvent that again? I mean, at some point, maybe there won't be enough incentive for ad blockers to do it. I don't really know how they're monetized fully, but to me, it just feels like it's one of those like arms race type situations. They do something, then they just do another thing to circumvent it. But me personally, like, I have YouTube Premium. Some amount more people will get YouTube Premium, which, as far as I understand, pays a lot higher rate than people watching ads. Some amount of people will watch less, but who knows? Like, yeah, maybe YouTube will, if YouTube sees enough punishment to their bottom line, cracking down on ad blockers from like overall view time going down and whatever, if they see people trying to band together and cancel their YouTube premiums, and if it hurts their wallet, they would probably like roll back. They would go less harsh on ad blockers and things of that nature. I just don't know enough about any of the intricacies of it, so I'm not concerned on it. YouTube is not like a massive part of my bottom line. I'm not gonna be put into any kind of serious trouble if my YouTube revenue goes down 90%. So yeah, I'm not personally concerned on it.
I'm not concerned whatsoever either.
YouTube, what's that?
Now that I did. But no, I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, Dan. If YouTube does start cracking down on these ad blockers and making some type of software to prevent ad blockers, wouldn't these ad blockers just kind of circumvent that new whatever YouTube comes up with? I'm the same as you. I don't know anything about that stuff, but that's where I went when I first read that question.
I'm looking at PokeFlipz analytics right now. We've estimated made 33.52 the past 28 days. So half of that's mine and half of that's Nick's. So that's what's at stake for Nick. So I mean, if Nick loses 90% of that, he's going to be down like a whole $13 or so monthly. But yeah, I mean, if I were someone who, like, my only money was YouTube ad revenue, I would definitely be more concerned. I enjoy the thought of getting more views over time and growing that number from 33.50 to maybe like $50 a month, and but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. There we go. AP Sports Cards, the real MVP. I watch all ads all the way through to make sure Dan gets his $13 per month in ad revenue.
It's dedication right there. There's some long ads.
I could probably make a lot more than I do, and I don't know what a lot is. I don't know if it would double it or what, but I always hated the unskippable ones, so I do not do unskippable ones. I only do that one I manually opt out of, and those are the most lucrative ones. So I only put skippable ads in, and I try to, like, when we upload this, I think it's like a 24 to 36 hour cooldown before, and it's not like a fixed amount. I think it just randomly varies depending on how long it takes the video to process and stuff. But we cannot see the ads for at least like a day, and sometimes I come back 2 or 3 days later to a live stream. It inserts an ad every 3 minutes or something. Like, sometimes it does it properly. I wish you could just put a setting on your thing, like, hey, do an ad on average every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want to do. Because that's what I try to do on my long form content personally, like maybe every 20 or 30 minutes. But there are times where it's put 50 ads in an hour-long live in one of my videos, or maybe a 2-hour-long live before. Absolutely insane. So if anyone ever sees that, I apologize, either on here or on my channel. Because if and when I ever see that, I always just delete them all, and then I add like 3 or 4 back in, and then just run it that way. But
yeah, that's always absurd, and it's always on like these really long videos or podcasts. It's
Yep.
never on like a 10, 15-minute video.
Oh, and back on the Fanatics thing, AP Sports Card says, even that view is maybe giving too much credit to Fanatics. I expect they want it on their platform so they can get fees instead of Whatnot or eBay Live. That's a very good point, and yeah, maybe that's what they're looking to do. They bought PWCC. PWCC for a short bit was talking about some kind of a live platform. I don't know if they're going to utilize that and build that out, or if they're going to just like buy Whatnot next and then take that over. I don't know what their plans are, but yeah, maybe that's just to rake in all aspects of the money from all angles. Mr. Walrus says, question, on Radar's podcast, you mentioned you wanted to put together an eBay seller ranking report with all our info. When are you officially putting out a call for that? I definitely
that would
not.
be a cool idea. I did like that.
Definitely not this week or next, just because I am way too swamped with my first eBay Vault send off and then catching up from being gone midweek this week. I have had a few people in like Discord. I mentioned it in one of my office hours, and I had a few people send data to me. I would need to do like a short or something, and problem is it'll probably be like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 short that gets like 300 views, and I'll probably get like 1% participation rate. So I'll probably get like 3 data points, of which I can't do anything with. Like I probably need at least 50. 20 or so would probably be enough to do a little bit of something with, but ideally I would want to get like 50 plus, and I just don't know how I'm going to manage that. And ideally I need them all on the same day, and I need them all for the same category. And just the amount of people that will spend 5 minutes going into their eBay and volunteering that information. I'll try. I will try at some point. It's on my list. Maybe sometime in late July I'll try. But I just feel like it's going to be likely not successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the unfortunate part. It would be a cool idea. I really did like that idea, but the actually doing it would be tough.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Where are you?
Maybe I could get enough. Like I'm sure I could get it from you, from me, from James. There were some discrepancies though too. In the small data set of people that I was kind of like polling in Discord, some people's were saying it was out of 120,000 sellers, and then some people's were saying it was out of 160,000 sellers. So something a bit weird. Also, I was ranked like 18th for the time frame that I looked, and James was ranked like 800th. So,
man,
yeah, clearly not valid. Clearly not valid because he's selling way more than me. I had a thought that maybe it was buy it now only, but yeah, I really don't know. I will say, just because I saw Garen mention
where are you at right now? I just pulled it up. I'm at 18 out of 166,000.
Oh, I'm not. I have a different user login. Like I have two separate user accounts on my.
You're higher than me, so that's your excuse for not sharing your number.
No, I can't easily log into my eBay right now because I'm on my PokeFlipz like Windows login, and I'm logged into PokeFlipz.
It's a good excuse. It's a good excuse.
Yeah. So Garen mentioned it. Poke Center is.
So we'll assume like 20 or above.
I was like the other day I was actually 18, so it's funny how you're exactly where I was. I could pull up my 90 day. We could compare 90 days on the app, but I think you're slightly ahead of me for sure. So it's not that surprising. I probably am like low 20s or something. But Garen mentions Pokemon Center is dropping 151 UPCs. Orders contain a Squirtle stamp promo for anyone who missed it or is interested.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, your boy Squirtle.
That's cool. Because usually in the past it's just been the you get one stamped and one non-stamped, but that's cool. You're getting 2 separate cards now.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get enough of these through wholesale, so I'm not gonna go buy any at 120, even though it comes with a Squirtle. I'm no longer doing binders. Like, I don't really care enough about that Squirtle to have it in my collection, my lack of a collection, so I'm not gonna chase it personally, but it's there if anyone wants it. The playmat's cool. I did see, yeah, Brandon, sorry. Oh, James says he's 1185. So James just reran it. Last week I think he was 800 something. Yeah, James mentioned in his he mentioned in his video the other night that he sold like 2 million in Q2, a new record quarter. So Nick must have done substantially more than 2 million. Congrats on your big quarter, Nick. Being 18th.
Yeah.
And if I were to get 50 people's data, or even 20 or 25 people's data, I will try. Like I said, I will try in a couple weeks. I'll put either a short out or I'll mention it. If I have a live stream, I mean, we could try right now, but one thing you need to be careful on, because I got like 5 or 6 people's data the other day, and I wasn't getting their. I need your sales history for the past 30 days, but not overall. Like, it needs to be in that specific category. If you look at your app and you look at just your 30-day sales history, that is not like that is all your categories. So you need to get your category specific for that one category, and then you need to get your category specific ranking for that one category too. Like, it's a little bit one of the issues, one of the concerns that I would have concerns that people would half watch my short, half listen to my instructions, and then do it wrong and give me bad data. So, like, when I did my whole charity challenge and I had people like, hey, do it for 8 minutes. Some people did it for 15. Some people did it for 7. I'm going to have a little bit of a concern with the validity of the data that I get, just because people are going to do it wrong. They're not going to listen to the whole thing. Some people will listen, watch the whole thing, be fully well-intentioned, and then do it wrong accidentally too. So, like, lots of issues. Yeah. Grimer Collect says, do you need my social security number too? And then some amount of issue with any kind of polling, with any kind of like crowdsourcing information, there'll be some amount of people literally just out there to ruin it. And like, they'll just feed in incorrect data. Incorrect, like, if we get a large enough sample size, there'll be some trolls out there just throwing out random numbers.
Yeah.
I'll still give it a shot though at some point for sure. Yeah, Retro says
it would be cool to be able to figure that out. It would be really tough though, but
if
it would be cool.
if eBay's calling you, you know you're doing well for sure. Hermitman1 says, is selling empty WotC booster boxes the new bag? I have tons of empty booster boxes. I turned down a couple offers. I don't know how valid they were, but for my complete empty booster box collection, not just WotC boxes, but like base set first edition English, all the foreign languages, all the way up to like ultra modern, the newest set. I probably should just make that as a listing, all my empty boxes, and just sell those. I don't know why I still have them all. They are cool, but they're not as cool as the amount of money that they're worth, according to what they sell for.
They are worth a good amount. I sold some empty boxes a while ago, back a couple of months ago, and it was like first edition Jungle, Team Rocket, Gym Challenge, and maybe a fossil. And then they all went for like $100 a piece. It was kind of crazy.
I sold not all my spares because I think I still have a few stragglers laying around that like I couldn't unbury during the boom. I sold thousands of dollars of empty boxes though in the boom. Like I was selling some of the E-series ones. I had like 4 or 5 Aquapolis boxes that I opened years ago. At least 3, maybe 4, I guess. But I sold a couple of those for $200-300 a piece if I remember. And I had like I had some spare of like the more popular. I mean, I had a dozen spare jungle ones that I was selling for $100, couple $100, or $100 and something bucks a pop. I definitely sold thousands in empty booster boxes during the boom. I should have just sold them all.
What makes you save that kind of stuff though? I remember I didn't open nearly as much as you back in the day, but I opened some boxes, and I remember throwing the boxes and the pack wrappers away. I never thought to hold on to that stuff.
I'm kind of a hoarder. Like it's it's kind of a problem in some like I have a lot of stuff that a lot of people would have just thrown away. For a long time, I was keeping partially as like a shipping vessel, I guess, but I was keeping a lot of empty ETBs, and it got to the point where it's like I'm never going to utilize all these for shipping. I got to break these down. I was keeping ETB booklets for a long time. I probably had like 200 empty Hidden Fates ETBs in the booklets, and those things are cool. Like my kids love them. I have one of every empty ETB as well. Some of those, it's like when I bought and opened my Plasma Storm, nowhere near like what it is now, but it was still a lot of money. Like when I was buying a $400 Jungle First Edition booster box, that's a lot of money. Like I don't want to throw away this box. It looks kind of cool, kind of nostalgic. Let me just throw that in a tote somewhere. And I'm glad I did. Like I didn't really do it thinking they'd be worth something. But yeah, I have empty art sets of all the packs, all the different eras too. I probably have like 10 grand in empty boxes and empty wrappers. It's so crazy.
Makes me wonder, are we saving these modern boxes?
I save one of each. I don't do the pack wrapper thing. Well, I save one of each pack wrapper and one of each box just to continue my collection of empty stuff.
That's true. That's true.
It's crazy though. I don't really. It's gotten burdensome. It's not that like when they're folded flat, they don't take up that much space, but still, it's like a big box. It's a big box somewhere that I could just get thousands of dollars for if I sell it all. I need to just do that and then stop keeping up with the new ones. I missed this question by Pokemartin. Will Pokemon ever make a set with another IP like Magic, Lord of the Rings? I feel like there's a lot there with a possible Super Smash Bros. Set or Pokemon Unite would be amazing. I mean, they did do like the Mario Pokemon there for a little bit, the promo box. That will they do a full blown set though? No idea, but it would be really cool. It would be really cool. Smash Brothers is crazy. There are I don't know how many characters there are in that. Maybe like 80, 70 or 80. You could do so much with that. I mean, you could do a massive series of promo boxes. You could do the pretend Pikachu wearing all the different costumes, and then you could do the actual set. Yeah, it could be nuts. Will they ever? Long enough timeline, I would lean towards yes. Again, like right now, Pokemon is killing it. 10 billion cards a year. Market can't get enough. Don't rock the boat. Don't change anything drastically. Don't like it's working. So just keep going with it. If and when things get tougher though, like things like this, serialized cards. One thing though, like when you're the biggest IP, you got to kind of like reach down, right? But reach down into Nintendo's portfolio and utilize Pokemon to like shed some more light on these other things.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is Pokemon's just killing it right now. So why change what's not broken? Once if and when things ever calm down, that's when we'll start seeing more of these we'll start seeing like serialized cards as an option, and these collaborations with other IPs is another good one. That would be like really, really popular. But why do it right now and give a portion of this money that Pokemon's making to another IP when they're already killing it and able to keep all the money for themselves?
Yeah. Mr. Walrus says, question, I want to be like you guys, but my wife refuses to get a teaching degree. Please advise. Hey, there's a lot more lucrative jobs out there that pay very, very well. I do like the whole teaching thing for the summers off, but there's a lot of possible sugar mama employment options. So Don't restrict yourself to just teaching.
uh,
Yeah, aren't collectors just selective hoarders? Brad G. Card says, Dan, do you collect empty milk jugs too? No.
I can see it. I can see it.
For a long time, though, I was one of those people. I still am to an extent. Like my current PC, while things are in warranty, like I always worry if and when something breaks, I want to have the box in case they need me to send it back. For a long time, though, I just had boxes upon boxes. I was bad about after a year, after the warranty was up, getting rid of the boxes. Like when I moved out of my prior house a couple years ago into this house, I recycled so many TV, computer, tablet, cell phone. Like I hang on to empty boxes for stuff like that way too long sometimes. Where it is like right now where I'm living, I have one select spot where I think I still have like my main TV box that I've got to get rid of because that's definitely well out of warranty now. Assuming it had like a 1 year. But I'm better than I was, but still kind of bad. I keep the boxes and packaging for too many things too long.
That's one thing I am bad about too is keeping like boxes for computers and TVs and phones and stuff like that.
They pile up.
They really do. They really do.
Pokey Martin says $95 Scarlet and Violet box is killing it. Absolutely. 10 billion cards and not having $80, $60, $50, $40 boxes, I would call that killing it. I mean, there's only two sets in a row. If and when Obsidian Flames and 151, if we get a few more sets that struggle to maintain like $100, $110 or something, you could start to worry a little bit more. But you've got as of right now, you've got two sets having kind of an issue a little bit. But I think their volume is still decent. Like if you go on TCG Player, there's a difference between $95 boxes that aren't selling and $95 boxes that are still moving in high quantity. Going into Obsidian Flames and 151, coming off the heels of, and look at Japanese. Like don't forget Japanese is the other side of this too. Overall, Pokemon is absolutely killing it. And for people to point at two recent sets being where they're at with high sales volume still, like kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, it is good. They're still selling well, but $95 is rough on Scarlet and Violet base. But so I will agree with Pokemon on that. But then the flip side of that is look at how bad of a set Scarlet and Violet base was. It was terrible in my opinion. And it's still $95 a box. And then Paldea is doing a little bit better. They're like 105. So that's decent. And it's still only the second set in Scarlet and Violet. I want to know what's going to happen to pricing once Obsidian comes out and 151. I think that's when it's going to absolutely take off. Every set's not going to be a home run, but like you said, the sales volume is still really really good. I don't sell much Scarlet and Violet myself, but I do sell a lot of Paldea every single stream.
Yeah, I'm on TCG Player right now at 105. I'm not gonna count, but I just hit load more sales 5 times and scrolled down, and there's a lot of multi-quantity sales too. Had to be over 100 boxes have sold today. I don't really follow super closely, like X amount of days after release, these last few sets sold 500 boxes per day instead of 200 or 100. I don't know like that in depth to know whether it's concerning or not, and maybe someone does have that information, but just me not being like way too in depth on it, not being way too like spreadsheet tracking it super closely, it feels pretty damn healthy where we're at. How many cards have been printed and where everything sits overall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Grimer Collect says they sell well, it's just people want what's coming next. this is definitely a very, very cash poor industry overall. Like, there are definitely some amount of online retailers, even LGSs, that they're just fire selling stuff at slight loss so that they have the capital to take all the Obsidian Flame they want, to take all the, well, Lord of the Rings, because a lot of these people don't only do Pokemon too. Lord of the Rings just came out. That was very expensive for LGSs. There's constantly new products coming out, and if a set's going to flounder at 95 to 105, 110, 120 for several months or a year or two, why tie up tens of thousands of dollars for that when maybe the next set is going to be the new best set of all time that you buy and you just flip, you sell at a 10% loss so that you can take that capital and put it into a potentially 20, 50, 100% gain. That's not, I'm not saying that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying that's the right thinking, but that's just what a lot of people do, what a lot of businesses do. Oh, and
I would agree on that one.
Hermit Man 1 does have a good point. There's a store credit. I think it's like 13% store credit today for sealed product only. So, yeah, maybe the sales are significantly higher due to that. That's a fair point that I forgot about. Because I was hoping that I'd see, I think the only sealed product I have up there is native. And I'd imagine I'll get a few sales that trickle out there. Nowhere near like Pokemon liquidity.
Basic will probably try one.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Mr. Walrus says, question, without revealing them, how does Nick feel about me giving him plays and doing them 5 months late and being behind?
Some of them were decent. Others I still don't agree with.
Multiple plays. I mean, you got to feed us one at least. Give us a little sample if there's multiple plays going on here.
Nope, my lips are sealed.
Damn. Pokemon says, question, what do you think is more important for long-term growth, Pokemon species or the card type? For example, Tag Team card versus Charizard card. Supply. Neither. Supply. Well, it's always supply and demand at the end, but honestly, what's more important is like not a fundamental thing. It's just what was the supply is a fundamental thing, but what I don't know, the whole Gengar Mimikyu, the whole tag team, the whole team up, like I don't know where all that came from, but once it started happening, it just like snowballed upon itself and it just exponentiated. That's all. That's the most important thing. Like getting, however that happened, getting that to happen again on whatever it is. I don't know how to go about doing that, but someone's back there pulling the strings, but it ain't me.
I think the card type is definitely the most important aspect. Because
Alt art.
Obviously you have species collectors, people who are collecting Charizard or Pikachu or whatever, and whenever a set does come out with Charizard, it tends to do really well because Charizard's really popular. But I think long term, people are gonna like collecting these kind of mini sets, like collecting all the amazing rares, or collecting all the tag teams, or collecting all the alt arts, or something like that. So I think overall you want to have a really good card type, like the alt arts or the tag teams or something like that, versus just having a really good Pokemon, like the Moonbreon, for example. I guess that's a bad example, but you see what I'm saying. I think having that specific card type is more important, because then you get more people involved with whatever that thing is. You don't just have those Charizard collectors going after that Charizard. now you have all these people who really like the art style of these alt arts going after all of the alt arts. So you have more people involved.
And Pokey Martin mentions, I think there's more OCD collectors who have got to get all gold stars, alt art shinings, etc.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say there's more people who have to try and get them all than people who are fine just getting one or two.
I missed Gengar's things questions, but how are the pins doing? Are you pumping those through the lives at all?
I haven't done a single pin through the live. One of these days, I'm gonna bring some pins into the lives.
Yeah, you got to. Gotta start moving them.
Yeah, I gotta.
Hermit Man 1 wants to know if you're participating in the eBay Open seller panel.
I don't usually do those. No. I'm hoping I speaking of not traveling, they used to do those opens like in person, and I always wanted to go to one, but I was never able to. So maybe if they start doing them in person again, then I would go to one. I think that would be a really fun time. But it's been online since COVID, and that just doesn't sound as much fun.
Yeah, I've never watched one. I don't even know. I kind of know what they are, but yeah, I've never participated or watched. I guess never participated from either side.
Mm.
It is 3:40 as of right now. We are fully caught up to chat. Nick has a lot to do to prep for his live tonight. I have a fair bit to do to prep for my live tonight. And I also have a fair bit to do to catch up from the past 2 days. We'll probably call it at 4. So yeah, if you have any new questions, I mean, maybe even slightly sooner if no new questions come in. But if you have any new questions, there's currently no backlog. Feel free to leave them. Catch Nick tonight, 9 o'clock eBay Live. Catch me tonight, YouTube, 9:30.
Be curious to see. Be curious to see who has the most viewers. You probably still will, because you usually have like 90 or 100, and I'm averaging about 50. But in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to have an intense competition.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who's next on podcast?
I just saw that.
I completely forgot to mention that, but yeah, we don't have it finalized as far as the day and time. We do have a non-full timer coming on, but yeah, Nick, if you want to take the honors of announcing our next special guest.
Yeah, Poke Knowledge PK will be joining us in 2 weeks for the next podcast. Definitely looking forward to having him on. We were going to have him on 2 weeks ago, when we had Gem Mint Collectors on instead, but he recently had a baby, so he couldn't come on. But now he'll be able to come on and join us for the first time, so definitely looking forward to that. We've both been on PK's channel, but he's never been on PokeFlipz before, so that'll be an exciting conversation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know that he was supposed to have Nat Turner yesterday, and then I think he pushed him out to July 10th. That's the same week that we're intending to do PokeFlipz. We're shooting for the 13th. I think we do like an evening one though. I hope Nat Turner doesn't end up taking over PK's schedule and end up I'm sure he'll follow through since he said he's good to go for it. But yeah, we definitely won't be doing the 1 p.m. because he has a normal job. We'll probably be trying to go for like 8:30 p.m. So Nick will have to move around one of his eBay live streams. But we'll
guys are killing me.
We'll get it sorted out and we'll get it scheduled ahead of time. But tentatively, I would guess Thursday, July 13th at like 8:30 or 9 p.m.
No.
Hermit Man.
Tino.
Okay, just quickly.
Just about the light bar. What?
Oh, I was gonna say quickly before we get too much further away from it. The eBay
Oh,
the eBay Open, it's hybrid this year apparently. Hermitman1 says.
I did hear about that. They're like doing it in person in a few areas. But it's like it used. I never went to one, but from what I heard, it used to be like this. It's like huge convention that everyone would go to one place, and they always used to have it in Vegas, which is another reason I want to go because that's always a good time. But the hybrid ones, it seems like it's more so like a lot smaller of an event. So it might be worth trying to go to one at some point because I know like they have one in New York, which that's not too far from me. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I do actually see, not that we're ending right now, we'll still end in 10 or 15 minutes probably, but I see that Retro mentioned Alex's live. I've never done it. Like when we do the premiere, I have the premiere set up to funnel into the live automatically. Mid-live, I've never edited one to try to do a redirect, but I will try to redirect into that stream so that people here can raid Alex over there. We'll have to see if that works because I've never tried that midstream. I'm not going to click save on the changes yet because I don't want it to break our current live, but I'll do it about a minute before we end and see if it works.
I just wanted to mention whose comment was it?
Poketino, you were going to talk about?
Poketino. The light box. I would recommend. Was it? Did I get it off of? I believe I got mine. The one that Pokemon Classics recommended. I believe he has one in his recommendations. Isn't it him?
Maybe. Now that I think about it, I don't think I have one recommended in mine. I'll have to add mine in there. I don't think I got mine off a recommended. I think I bought one before. Mine's like 18 by 18, it looks like, if I had to guess. Maybe it's 16 by 16. But that's kind of big enough to put like an ETB or a booster box. It's big enough to spread a few cards in. I used to have like a 9 by 9, which worked for a slab, but it felt kind of tight. They're so cheap, like 10 to 20 bucks, maybe 30 bucks if you're getting a little bit fancier one. I would say try one in the 12 by 12 to 16 by 16 range. And then if you don't really like it, like you can always just buy another. Like they're so cheap.
Yeah. I'm trying to find mine on Amazon now. I don't even remember when I bought it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I got a 20 by 21. I'll post the link of mine. I actually like mine. Non-affiliate link, so I won't make any money off you.
Mine's definitely not that big, but it's I want to say it's probably 16-ish, 16 by 16 if I had to guess. But yeah, like if you're going to be photographing, it depends on what you're photographing too. Like if you're going to be photographing only single graded cards, like I would probably have slightly smaller if that's all I did, but I occasionally do like a booster box or a collection box or whatever. If you have really big things, then you probably just need more like a backdrop and a light, like a softbox light or whatever. There's so many different lighting options you can go for. Mr. Walrus says, question, at what point do you scale back eBay? What's your breaking point capacity? I definitely don't want eBay to get in the way of like my life. I mean, obviously it's my job, so it's a huge part of my life. It's 1/3 of my life in many ways, but I'm not gonna just put in 80 or 100-hour weeks and miss my children like growing up and miss a lot of their milestones. Like I took part of the day out, kind of a silly thing, but like pre-K graduation. If and when there's like events and times in my kid's life, like dance recitals or big games, and I'm not going to be grinding eBay and missing things like that. So there's always a balance because we do have to. I mean, the wife is the one that brings home the bacon, puts the food on the table, all those memes and stuff. But there is some amount of a balance. Like, and this goes for anyone in any career. but I grew up with a self-employed dad who was like always there, and I was there by his side working on a lot of stuff with him. So I mean, the answer could be in 5 years I could be going harder on eBay. In 10 years I could be going harder on eBay because I could be like employing both my kids if they love it and they're into it. And but if life takes a different direction and they neither of them have any interest in it, and they're in all these different sports and activities, and like I'm gonna kind of just like see where things go, and then let that instruct me on how to scale and how to continue on, how to conform to that, because I'm not just going back to the whole Mexican fisherman thing. I'm optimizing for more than just money. I'm optimizing for more than just growth. I'm optimizing for like life fulfillment and happiness. And yeah, that's I don't know what that looks like on a long timeline.
The opposite. There is no too much. Just keep adding stuff. Keep doing more work. No, I would say I was close to my breaking point, like I was talking about earlier last week. That was about it for me. I was getting very stressed, and it was not fun. So I had to make a few small changes, which I think I've gotten better with this week. Because it definitely feels a lot less stressful this week than it did last week. But yeah, it just depends on the person. Like Dan, you got wife and kids. I don't have a wife and kids. So this is both my job plus a huge passion of mine. So I spend a lot more time on it than you do, but it just depends on your position and what you prioritize.
Yeah, it really, really deep philosophical question that I think a lot of people don't take the time to like consider. What is your why? Like, why are you doing everything you're doing? I think a lot of people just, and I've had periods in my life where I've probably fallen to this, and to some extent, it's not 0 or 1. It's not binary. It's some amount of a spectrum. But like, why are you doing what are you doing? What are you striving towards? What are you optimizing for? What are your goals? A lot of people just get stuck in the day-to-day. I got to go punch in, punch out, do my job. And they get into this cycle where they're just kind of meandering through life without any clear goals. Like, where do you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years? What are you doing to actively get closer to those goals? And if it's just like more, to a lot of people, enough does not exist. And it's always just more without actual like clarity on why. Like, why more? Is there some amount that's enough? Is there some amount that you can go out and smell the roses, go to Legoland, go enjoy things? Like, maybe you just, you got to be the very best like no one ever was. You got to be number one. You got to beat, you want to be running. Like, again, everyone has their own situation, and there's no option that's fundamentally right. It's just, you got to find what's right for you.
Yep.
No such thing as breaking point capacity, Walrus. We're selling cardboard and plastic. Pedal to the metal.
I like it, Retro. I like it.
Mr. Walrus says, I don't know, Retro shipped 8 orders yesterday and it was daunting. Pee-wees, we did talk about the One Ring a couple separate times, I think, earlier on. Eric Fair says, with Lorcana coming up, do you expect older Disney sets to get a huge boost and even older graded cards? No, because those are old, crummy cards that no one wants. No one's wanted all this time. Ultra moderner, ultra betterer.
Ultra betterer.
What do you think? I mean, Lorcana's the best Disney card of all time. All of them are the best cards of all time. Best set of all time. All the old stuff is old, crummy, cheap. No one wants it.
I'm starting to agree with that. Just seeing what's in Pokemon right now. Nobody wants Watsy anymore. Watsy is garbage. Everyone wants the newest, the shiniest thing. So, will people want to go back to like Jake has a lot of cards from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and I think they're kind of cool because I've never seen them before. But are people gonna want to go back and buy those cards with Lorcana? I don't know. I don't know. I would almost imagine no. Because they're old. It'll be we're in a crazy time right now. We're in a crazy time.
The moderner, the better.
That is the truth right there. That is the truth.
Is Quaxley the best starter of all time? Yes.
Of all time? Man. What happened to Charmander?
He's the most ultra modern one. Come on, Quaxley.
Man, I wasn't expecting that. No, Squirtle is still number one.
The duck. I think with that, we'll probably... Oh, Mr. Walrus says, I was just looking for a number of packages a day. This 4 deep. I think he meant to say this got deep and then autocorrect got him or something. But
yeah,
I honestly do. Like, I feel like the days that I've shipped 100, 150, I've done 200 in a day on a Monday where I like sent out tons of offers, things like that. 50 to 100 feels like too much for me on an everyday basis. Like if I could be 30 to 50 and just increase my average selling price, or like the eBay Vault consignment service that I'm doing, I have some amount I have to batch ship off to the eBay Vault, but then on the back end of it, the fulfillment is it's almost like Troll and Toad Evo-esque, where I front load the work. eBay Vault, I'm doing my own inventory and I'm also doing consignor inventory. eBay Vault, my own stuff, I do the front end sourcing and then I send it in and then they do the fulfillment. Whereas with the consignment stuff, like I'm doing the facilitating, shipping it in, bundling it together, shipping it in, and making the listings. But it's nice because like if I make 20 sales a day through the eBay Vault, those don't directly get packaged by me, so I can kind of scale in a way. Like all this talk of employees, for someone with no employees, I sure have a lot of employees. I actively have at least 10 different people selling, consigning different cards for me, different graded, like whatever it is in some way. I've utilized every major auction house at least once just to try them. I've sold through different Whatnot streamers. I've sold through different people who can sign cards for me on TCG Player, all different kinds of things on their own eBays. So yeah, all that stuff. Again, consistency will be its own video someday. Scalability will be its own video someday. And those topics will be addressed more thoroughly then.
Yeah, I think 50 is definitely manageable. 50 is kind of a sweet spot, I think. Now with the eBay Lives, I'm doing like 80 to 100 a day, which is a big increase in number of packages, but it doesn't feel like more work because I'm getting fewer regular eBay orders because I'm not listing anything new, which is kind of a bad thing. But all of my eBay Live orders are all just stacked up together, and they're right in pulled, one spot.
Yeah, that's a good
exactly,
point. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, Retro says, speaking of consigning, just pulled 3 more Score Ultra Rares out of your 5 rows, LMAO. I have a bunch of Score with Retro. I have some Yu-Gi-Oh! With Ernesto. I have a bunch of Buddy Fight and different more obscure things with Skya. I know Kai has a couple of my Score. I have so many, like I have a lot of employees for not having any employees, and I'll continue to utilize, like if and when someone has more expertise, if and when someone has more time and ability to optimize, a good consigner will like they'll cost you some amount of money, but they'll make you more than they cost you. Like Retro having those cards that he has more expertise on, that's me not wasting my times looking through cards that I don't know what's worth grading, that what's valuable. I need to search card by card when he can just fan through 100 cards and really quickly, like I can do for Pokemon. So yeah, like utilizing him, he's making money, I'm making more money and optimizing my time better than if I had done it myself. So lots of opportunities to do stuff like that with without having like the formal employee technicality. Yeah, I sent Mr. Walrus a bunch of Digimon as well. But
send me commons to sell.
I sent him literally. I did send Retro a ton of comments too that are worth nothing. But I'm like, I'm gonna send you everything with these guys with yellow hair on them, all these different Dragon Ball Z. I sent Walrus every single Digimon. I'm like, a lot of these are probably worth nothing. Keep them, throw them away, give them away, whatever you want to do. I just don't want them anymore. But with that, it is 4:00. I am going to attempt to redirect people in case people want more content on their Friday afternoon. Alex looks like he's live with Pokemart USA. So we'll send you guys there and see if it works. Anything else to add in closing, Nick?
No, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, today. Really do appreciate it. See you again in 2 weeks with the PK. And be sure to join whoever's live stream you like better tonight.
Yeah, Nick and I will both be keeping lists, and we will be noting who's not in ours, who's in the other. So your allegiance will be noted, who you end up siding with tonight. So choose wisely. But yeah,
oh man,
thanks everyone. Fun hanging out as always. We will catch you all later.